The Yellow Brick Road. This video does not reflect the actual views of real people. These are actors playing a role to entertain audiences. No persons or animals were harmed in the making of this video. Gosh, I love YouTube and I love Google.
Welcome to the Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan. This is James, and today we're going to be talking more Jared Taylor and his genius connection between genetics and behavior, while skipping everything else out of the equation. This was sort of a video request from someone named Savage, so that's why we're doing this. And Martine, salute, sir. The Sparpar Master is joining us in spirit. Yes. Alright, so Jared Taylor. We already know his arguments. They've been repeated over and over. In fact, he had an initial argument and he tries to find everything that will support that one idea or message. Mm-hmm. So he waits for, I guess he looked into this guy's book, Robert Plomin? Robert something. Let's see. Robert Plomin, who wrote a book called Blueprint.
Robert Plousman.
Huh?
Robert Plousman. I'm just kidding. All right.
Either way, he's a scientist dude that says our behavior, even like personality and feelings and all that, is dictated by our genetics. Let's find out. Let's hear Jared Taylor's case for this when he's on Millennial Woes YouTube channel.
I wonder how many subscribers he has.
I don't know. Point is, I called him out on Twitter, and I'm waiting for a response as we speak. So here we go. Jared Taylor on Millennial Woes.
Hello, and welcome to this pre-recorded session for Millennial 2018. And unfortunately, my camera has run out of battery power, and I have a technical problem with that, so I do apologize, but I'm going to be avatar only in this hangout. But luckily, our guest does have video, and it is the illustrious, much-loved Jared Taylor. Welcome, Jared, to Millennial 2018.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure and an honor to be on your program.
Oh, thank you. And we're going to speak about a book by Robert Plomin.
Yes.
Plomin. And it's, well, first of all, what is the need for this book? Let's say that. We should say that it's called Blueprint, and it's about environment versus genes. So what is the need for this book first?
The need for it is a very serious one, namely because for, I would say the past 50 years, the consensus among the bien-pensants, the people who wish to be taken seriously and to be considered virtuous, have insisted that genes are far less important than environment informing who we are. This is really the basis of really the last half century in social policy. The idea being, of course, that if we have inequalities in societies, they are the consequence of unfair environments.
Now, you'll notice that Jared will swing to, there's a basic argument of, well, what shapes a person? Is it genetics or is it environment? And of course, they stick to those two dumb ideas as being the only way a person becomes a person. So instead of Jared saying, well, surely it should be more than just genetics and environment, or surely it should just be more than environment, instead he just argues from the exact opposite point of view of, surely it must be genetics. It has to be genetics. And yes, we are savages. Well, I'm a savage. I can't speak for him. I think he's a little soft at times, but I am indeed a savage. So is J-Tay. J-Tay's a savage.
You're like a pill.
Look at those headphones, man. Savage. That's what savages do. So J-Tay's going to use the, since the leftists say it's environment, I'm going to say it's genetics argument. And I don't think, people are going to say science agrees with them, but I disagree with science then. If science actually does say that, which I don't think it does, but I'll disagree with science then. Fucking call me out on it.
Well, it's not really science itself. It's someone who's using science and as far as to intentionally prop up their own argument, because science is like a system that's used to come to the most likely outcome, rather than, see, guys, I used it right here. My studies say it's true. It's like, no.
Yeah, if it's objective, you wouldn't hear so many countering arguments to each other. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't happen if it's just, that's just what it is. But being unfair, unfair is good, as in it's good to have an unfair environment. I think it's good to express resilience, but you don't need the shitty condition for that to take place. You could just simply just not be as good as someone at something, right? I think, you were talking. That's who you're talking to, right? When you're talking about, it's better when fighters grow up in like a shitty environment. They end up being better. That was Martine's stance.
Well, I said it's more ideal for someone to, I would say, to have, what do you call it, have the opportunity to really pursue what they really want to do, rather than feeling like this whatever this could be, whether it be fighting or hockey or baseball, like this is my way out of this shitty environment over here, this scenario, rather than, okay, I actually have a choice. Well, they have a choice no matter what, but more of a choice, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can afford to do what I want.
I don't think they need social shittiness to build themselves up as like, in that like backs against the wall type of way.
Yeah.
I think you can have resilience as an archetype of a person. And it could be something simple as, that guy throws a punch better than me. My back's up against the wall. If in my mind I want to be the greatest fighter, I have to overcome this guy. It doesn't have to be, I need to...
Well, it's called care.
I need to be in a better neighborhood or whatever. Care. Yeah. But to get into specifics. But not genes. That makes you stronger. Will make you work harder. Makes you better. You make you better. It would be my stance. And that's all about, what are you pursuing? If you're truly pursuing to be the best fighter, you can look at another fighter and say, oh shit, they're better than me. That's the back up against the wall moment, where it's like, okay, I need to express resilience. Also, it can't purely be that, because otherwise you'll just run into the ring and be like, I'm going to rage fight you to death, right? I'm just going to use I'm so angry that nothing can stop me type of thing. And then the guy slips you and throws a combination, you're knocked out. Right? You got to bring everything with you. That's the care part. Right? You can't care unless all of you's there.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Which is why what I meant was, as far as everything we provided for someone, like here's your basic needs for living.
Yeah.
Like, we got enough for food, water, etc., home appliances, all that stuff. And maybe a little bit more for whatever else you want to pursue, a little bit more. Not enough for like a Mercedes-Benz, but like, hey, you want a gym membership? Go ahead. Look, we got enough for you. Here you go, take it. But the point is, it won't take away any of the drive. Because if it's your bliss to be the best boxer, I want to fight. I want to be the best. That's your bliss. Then it really wouldn't matter,
Yeah.
It wouldn't take away any drive or motivation or whatever.
Yeah. It's almost the opposite. Alright. Continue with Jared. The best will survive. Yeah, but what dictates the best, right? Is it someone just born with it? Is it, right? There's a whole bunch of factors that go into it. It could even be luck. Like the true best guy got in a motorcycle accident and fucked his leg up. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that go into this. Alright, more J-Tay.
As a result, the theory is that by pouring money into programs to equalize environments, then we can equalize outcomes. And this effort has been, at least in the United States, and also to some extent in Britain as well, directed towards equalizing outcomes for people of different races.
And then this is just the extreme version of the welfare, eat up our tax money, and blah blah blah. They get stuck in that cycle of that. He just takes it a step further and says it's because of their genetics.
That's silly.
Yeah. Well, that's his argument. Let's hear more of it.
And the importance of this book is that it gathers together in one place all of the latest findings that show just how important DNA is, and that environmental influences, to the extent that they are measurable, are very, very difficult to change. And the book, if I may introduce it to your viewers and listeners, it's called Blueprint. And the subtitle is How DNA Makes Us Who We Are.
Pause it. That's like saying we're all robots.
Yeah. Of course, genetics plays a role as far as your body, your physical body.
Yeah, how tall I am.
Even
my length and reach, and all that stuff.
When I look at brain capacity, I look at it as like a hard drive on a computer.
Yeah.
How much space can you hold? I'll look at it like that. But how it's applied is not dictated by the brain. Something else must be creating and choosing.
Equality is not true. Depends what you mean by equality, Martine.
I think it means equality of outcome.
Oh.
Yeah, that'll never be true.
No, absolutely
because we all don't want to be Jimi Hendrix.
No.
We all don't want to be Carlos Condit.
Yeah.
Some of us just want to chill. Some of us want to play this. Some of us want to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
Some of us just want to teach.
That's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
At the same time.
But there is an equality of value when it comes to people. That's where it's equal at.
Yeah.
The actual person, like, you're valuable, regardless of what you're into.
Yeah.
You could be a serial killer, you're still valuable.
Sure. And there's other things, like how people can look at things and read things a little bit differently, you know? Like, oh, you're like, yo, you have like a mind for this, some people would say. It's like, well, I look at it differently. You know, I don't exactly enjoy this or that, but I read things a little bit differently. So it's like if someone's like, hey, draw this.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of, oh, I'm just talented. It's, well, for me, it's like body intelligence, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can manipulate that shape with a pencil.
Yeah.
You know? Martine, but like me, mathematics and languages, oh, like he excels at that.
Yeah.
He's like, I am good.
But with the languages and mathematics, is that just an aspect attached to where you're truly talented at?
Yeah.
Right? I could be good at mathematics, like, hey, you're good at math, maybe you should pursue that. But really, my actual the thing that I would be great at might be like accounting or something like that, right? To where, yes, I use mathematics, but it needs to be applied this specific way.
Yeah.
Right? And then language is the same thing. Right? You can learn 8 different languages but never talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Or it could be a tool for something greater. Like, I want to, or like Martine, like a business guy, right? I want to be able to talk to everybody. Thus, yeah.
Toasted.
You should be happy they're in playoff range. Toasted.
Toasted said, I'm fucking pissed the Browns are officially knocked out of the playoffs.
You should be happy that they're close to that, considering where they've been in the past whatever years.
Martine, but painting can't draw for shit.
Everybody's different.
I can sculpt, draw, painting, not really. That's like foreign in a way.
I'm like, Alright, continuing. As Jared Taylor explains to us that our DNA makes us who we are without explaining consciousness or anything else. Just leaping over a huge, Grand Canyon chunk of the puzzle, just jumping over that. All right.
And it's written by a Yank by the name of Robert Plomin, who has made his career in Britain. And he really is a very careful scientist and a good teacher. And this book, I think, is a very, very important one.
Is it because it's supporting your presupposition? Probably. Just like I think, I don't know, I'm making this up, but just like I think Joe Rogan's the best announcer ever because he said Carlos Condit is a great fighter and one of the top fighters to ever fight. So that makes Joe Rogan a really good person who's a genius. He takes his time and he really looks into things. He understands it. See, I could do that too. That doesn't say much.
It's like if someone cared, right? Someone truly put enough care, effort, and their intentions were to be the best at whatever, or to improve whatever areas of the, as far as let's say it's like a sport, and there's a whole spectrum. It could be like, let's say it's like basketball, like you know better than I do, like dribbling, or let's say baseball pitching. So I'm more familiar with it. There's I'm gonna throw this hard. I'm gonna learn all these secondary pitches. They're all gonna be out pitches. They're all gonna have great movement on them, grades, like learn how I'm gonna do it. Versus someone that like, oh, you had to build that though. You didn't have that. It took a little while, but you built all that.
Yeah.
You may not be the best, but you have moments where you are. There's care into that versus just, And
there's some glaring things with these arguments.
Yeah.
That I'll point out as we go.
Martine, see, that's what we do, but when we work on our strengths.
That's referring to...
I don't know.
Fuck. I have this thing where I don't remember what I just said.
It's all good.
I just channel it and just say it.
I would say from what I see here, yeah. But the point is it shouldn't be any other outside force influencing you to do so. Because then it wouldn't be really truly you going like, I want to do this. I'm making the choice to do this now.
Yeah, I might even say, as far as what Martine says, that we actually choose our strengths. So they're not just inherent in a way.
That's what I would say. Yeah.
Somewhat. There's a play going on. I might get too woo-woo.
To me, it's like this.
Even though Jordan Peterson's starting to say it out loud.
Yeah.
But
for me, it's like, for drawing, to previous stuff.
Yeah.
For drawing was always easy for me, always. Which means, in my opinion, I could be fucking phenomenal if I really wanted to be. From a young age, I could just go, oh, image on it, like on Cartoon Network. Ooh, that cartoon, I can draw that. And it would be. All the kids would be like, oh, what the fuck, whoa. But the point is, what I realized is, it's movement. It's like a movement, reading someone or something moving or like, seeing it. It's the same thing with like with lifting, with form. I can get shit down like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. Like if someone showed me like, how to like do throws and stuff, I'm very adept at learning these things. It's like a way of reading it, but it's like, anybody can do that.
I think it comes into the area of just simple curiosity. Like, what is that?
Sure, yeah.
And I think that's partially how it starts.
Yeah.
I also think there's a lot of ingrained things as well.
Sure.
We want to do what we love and work on it. That makes us happy. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Then it's like, where does love come from?
Exactly.
That's where I'm like, oh, the
means,
individual's already there.
Sure. That means to really look into that. When you are doing that, you're doing existential work, like who you are, which is identity, the self, something that Jared Taylor right here, this dude that's closing his eyes and breathing in right now, he has no idea.
Deep mouth breather.
Jared Taylor has no idea
Yeah.
No clue. He thinks it's something external.
I think what he's doing is he's using his form of intelligence, which is, I think he has a greater goal in mind, and these are his little tools to get to that bigger goal, which might be to separate the races or something like that.
To me, he's not that intelligent.
Nah.
Not really. I've heard him debates. It's like, dude, I could take you down.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a degree.
Well,
Nothing.
And he argues with other academics that
Yeah.
will just lead him towards the areas he wants to go to anyways.
Yeah.
Well, I have this, speaking of academics, I have this doctor from blah, blah, blah university that agrees with me.
Yeah.
Like, now you're in his world.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, you can step out of it, ask questions that may not be directly in front of him. Something a little more abstract, which is...
Abstract what?
Intelligence.
Abstract intelligence. He's like, huh, what is that?
He's either lacking in it or he's just ignoring it.
Yeah.
I think it's more of an ignoring, but on the surface, it's a lack of it. Like, how can you just say genetics or environment are the only two possible fucking factors for how someone behaves?
Well,
Like,
again,
come on, man.
that's like, to me, that's like literally you got a bunch of people in a ballroom. I'll say it again. A bunch of people in a ballroom. He's dancing with his idea, right?
Yeah.
So that's his partner. Everyone else is dancing with their ideas, and he's dancing, and he's having a fucking time of his life, you know? He's doing the waltz, you know what I mean? Dun, 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 dun. But then, what happens is right in the middle of it, right, which happens to everybody, he's going to step on the dead body in the middle of the room, and he's going to look at it like, fuck. Like, what are you going to do, man? You stepped on a dead body. You going to ignore it? Pretend nothing happened? Everyone's looking at you. Like, and it's intuitive, like, don't fucking say anything.
Yeah.
We'll get you. But intuitively, you know, it's like, you know that this isn't good. This isn't the right thing to do. I have to do something about this.
Yeah.
But again, to make sure, like, he just stays within his own idea. It's like he'll just pretend it didn't happen, and that's why I call it creep. It's like, dude, you know, you're purposely looking at this only argument to support your theory and prop it up. And anything else that might challenge it, you're purposely looking past it.
Because it smells like an end goal here.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. But I only got 2 minutes in. Let's listen.
Fuck. 22 minutes.
In blowing up some of the current myths about how society works and what causes inequality.
Right. Okay. And something he said that genetic effects are actually very difficult to override. That's interesting because not only are they there, but actually they're very difficult to override by environment.
Well, once again, if you're looking at it logically, right, it says it's difficult to overwrite. Now, if it's difficult to overwrite, does that mean it's possible to overwrite? If it's possible to overwrite, what the fuck does that mean? Does it mean it's malleable, or is it fixed? That's why I can't understand people are saying that your behavior is completely dictated by your genetics, or like only a small part is environment, or whatever, or just sticking to genetics and environment only. It's like, where's the abstract thinking? I don't know.
Yes, for a long time, it has been possible to use twin studies to determine how much of who we are is genetic and how much is environmental. The most effective twin studies, of course, are of those rare twin pairs which have been given up for adoption at birth, separated and reared in different households. There have been several hundred such pairs tracked down by researchers. And of course, identical twins, and we're talking about identical twin pairs here, are genetically absolutely the same. However, if they are reared in separate households, then their environments are completely different. So how similar are they? We can compare their similarities to identical twins who are reared in the same household. And the astonishing finding has consistently been that identical twins reared apart, and in some cases not even knowing of the existence of the co-twin, are no less similar to each other than identical twins who reared in the same household.
Now, I have looked up things. What?
Can you imagine? One in Connecticut, the other twins, Dominican Republic. Draw lines like. Right hit the border.
Yeah.
Like one's 5'11", the other one's 6'8".
I looked at another person's video talking about the whole twin. He wasn't speaking about Jared Taylor. He was talking about Sam Harris, and people bringing up the twin experiment or whatever. And he brought up some interesting things that I'm not going to use because that's not how I argue. Plus, it's someone else's work, really. I didn't do the study myself, so I don't really know. Not that there's anything wrong with bringing up studies, but let's hear the characteristics he brings up. That's where I want to pay attention to. It's like, what do you mean they're very similar? In what areas?
Yeah. Wait.
But say to a woman, guys are smarter, statistic, women go berserk. Yeah. I mean, there's probably conditioning, fear of the unknown. Like, what if they're right?
Yeah.
What if I am dumber? Anxiety. But if they did the work, they'd find out, oh, okay, it's determined by me. I just go do the work. But women are smarter. No guy breaks a what? Oh, breaks a sweat. Conditioning. With other factors, but conditioning. All right, let's hear Jared Taylor explain the characteristics that these twins are both, exhibiting.
Now, how can this be? You would think that the shared environment of a household would have a powerful effect on personality, on intelligence, on professional interests, that sort of thing. But it turns out that that is not the case. On the other hand, at the same time, it is not the case that identical twins, whether reared in the same household or whether separated at birth and reared apart, are absolutely identical. When it comes to personality traits, their gregariousness, for example, or their shyness or their conscientiousness, all of these things appear to be about 50% heritable.
Now, how those were measured, I have no idea. They sound like non-physical characteristics to me.
Yeah.
As far as if someone's conscientious, can we physically see that? Maybe you can see like evidence or something.
Yeah, evidence of such.
But they could also be pretending.
Yeah, like a psychopath.
Yeah. It's like, oh, your car broke down? I'll help you.
Listen, partner.
Meanwhile, they're like looking around to see if anyone's watching them too.
Like in my head, it's like,
Mom will like this.
Like, I like you as a friend. Then, in their head, it's like, I'm going to cut you up into tiny pieces and then eat you. So.
Women are not smarter. It's just, you got to take everyone as an individual. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, like again, I view it as, if you're pursuing this specific kind of intelligence, then it really wouldn't matter what you are, Yeah. That's what I would say. It really wouldn't matter whether we're men or women or, well, look, 80% of men have better test scores than women. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So what?
Judge the individuals.
Like, is there care involved in that with the women or the men?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I met dudes that are fucking extremely intelligent. They just did not give a fuck. Well, as far as academia and stuff like that, they just didn't give a fuck in school. Like, I don't want this. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Like, I was threatened with math, right? It's like, listen, James, if you don't get an A, like a 90, like above a 90 something on this quarter, you're gonna fail. You have to repeat high school. It's like fuck.
Yeah.
I got above a 90, like an A. Then they thought I cheated. So it's like, there you go. It's like, oh, when there's care involved, like there's care, but it's also more of like the scenario where it's like, listen, you better hit 4 home runs this game, or you and your family are gonna have no food.
Yeah.
It's like that, you know? It's like,
To where,
push against the wall, what are you going to do?
To where you're locked into instinctive drives.
Mm-hmm.
Like survival. Yeah.
Statistics point of view.
Like I said, you still got to take the individual, because I'm sure there's points in time when things will reverse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But even if it doesn't, you still have to look at what constitutes intelligence in the first place.
Sure.
What constitutes an individual.
Mm-hmm.
They're still even arguing about what constitutes a man and a woman
Yeah.
to some degree. All right, continuing.
And yet, that means there's a 50% in the variation of these traits that is left up to the environment. Well, where does that environment come from? It is not the environment of the family. The environmental effect on traits of this kind, and now intelligence is a particular trait that tends to be more highly heritable, and it becomes more highly heritable as people get older, which may be something that's counterintuitive, and we can get into that later. But
I don't know if he made that up or not.
That shit's ridiculous. What he just said there, that's ridiculous. Inheritable. I might have butchered that word. Inheritable.
Yeah, you got it.
Inheritable intelligence?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
hell?
In fact,
Fuck no.
there's people who say our intelligence has progressed over time, as far as not even like a family to family, but just generation of people to generation of people.
Mm-hmm.
People from way back when, if they took an IQ test today, would score way lower than ours. They'd be considered like dumb compared to how our standards are now.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's like, standards and exposure to such, well, we're going to measure intelligence this way, okay? You're going to grow up here at the same time as us.
That's the other part of it.
It's like, how are you measuring intelligence, Like, there's a whole spectrum of it, of intelligence. Body intelligence, academia intelligence, how I call this, intelligence of what, the self, I'd say? Is there a better way of saying that?
I don't know what I would call it. I'd just split the self into different things, like moral intelligence.
My bad. Let's go with that. Moral intelligence.
Yeah.
There's all these things, and there's more.
Yeah.
But guys like this, they view intelligence. It's like a one-way street.
Yeah.
So that's not how it goes.
I saw Stefan Molyneux post something on Twitter, and it was, "Where's the cultural bias in this question?" You showing like an IQ test thing. It's like a circle, 2, 3 circles like ring together.
Yeah.
And then below it's like a triangle and then you're supposed to draw out the triangles all connected to each other.
Yeah.
It's like, what if there's like, well, who cares?
Yeah, no.
It's like,
Like in school, right?
If you show that to a caveman, they're like, do I get food for this?
Yeah,
or
I know.
do I
know.
It's like, what the fuck?
Like in school, right? It's like, guys, earth science. You have the one kid's like, yep, A+. And the one kid over there is like, well, why do I need this?
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm going to do enough to pass, so you leave me alone. And that's that.
Yeah.
Like, one person's trying, the other person's like, eh.
Well, some guy did a TED Talk talking about this, about the generations, how people in the past would be more concrete and less like hypothetical, right? It's like, why do you follow the Bible? Because you follow the Bible. That's why. Like, it's concreted, as opposed to using the hypothetical, which allows you to ask questions like, well, why is killing bad?
Well, I think that's conditioning.
Yeah, definitely.
Just like in the era of the 50s.
But it shows a progression of understanding as far as generationally.
Sure. Well, just like with here, right? The 50s, which is one that wasn't that long ago, how there was like a set standard of you do this because you're a man, and you do this because you're a woman, and you're children, so your opinion matters only this much.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. And Martine, but genes will play a role if the environment we are raised
It's directed to that special role. That's the second part of it.
Yeah.
I
don't know about genes. I do think environment plays a part as far as experience, At the end of the day, the individual makes the choice. Whether am I going to let this environment shape me? You know, as far as the conditioning level.
I'm gonna get woo-woo here and say that the ego is the metaphysical representative of the body. So the ego is a negotiator of internal content like feelings and shit like that, and intuition, and also external content like what you see and what you feel physically and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And the body can be shaped by both. As far as the genes, the genetics can be shaped by physical happenings and also your feelings, your mind, your thoughts, and things like that. So that's how I look at how genes can be manipulated by experience, internally and externally.
Mr. Spinks!
Just look at adrenaline alone, right?
Yeah.
The guy gets fucking pumped up, right? It's just a normal day. There's nothing crazy going. There's no wolves chasing him. He just, puts his headphones on and he feels a certain way about a song.
Oh.
And all of a sudden, I bet if they measured him, there'd be adrenaline shooting through his whole body. Phil Collins?
Yes.
There you go.
I was watching Nathan Eovaldi.
Yeah.
That song just came on. I'm like, you fucking kill him, man. Kill him. He's on the Red Sox, but I'm like, I hate the Dodgers too. Oh, fucking kill him. Kill him.
So what if a guy did that, guy or gal did that every single day?
Yeah.
They went for whatever, their workouts or whatever.
Yeah.
Just walking to the office and they got in that pumped up mode every single day.
Yeah.
I think it would take an effect genetically.
Yeah.
Just saying.
All right. Mr. Spinks. Hiya, fellas. Hi. You gotta do Dave Chappelle, though. Dave Chappelle, hi. Hi. Are you guys on Gab? What's that?
We're not on Gab. Gab's like almost like Twitter, I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I know it's a social media thing. I don't know exactly what it is.
I'm gonna start linking your guys' streams up to my Gab account. Be right back. Okay.
Thanks, man.
Mr. Spinks.
Mr. Spinks.
I'm gonna get a shirt that says Mr. Spinks.
Just pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah. Sell it for $1.
What?
I do it. Make T-shirts.
Oh, you gotta give him a cut.
That's where the dollar goes in.
Oh, okay. 75 on the dollar.
Huh?
75 cents on the dollar.
No, he links my shit.
Ah.
Martin. Yeah, but if everything is directed towards achieving it, if everything is directed towards achieving your goal.
Yeah.
Well, that's pursuing the bliss. You know, your bliss.
Yeah.
And you are being helped.
Depends what you mean by helped.
Yeah.
But as far as everything towards achieving the goal,
Mm-hmm.
yes, right? That's the self-expression.
To achieve it.
Yeah. That's the self-expression. It's like, I'm getting pumped up to achieve this goal or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was the goal itself.
Yeah.
But that's, once again, that's self-directed.
Sure.
In fact, I would think that's
So even if
predates
so
the ego, the conscious ego.
So even if I'm holding pads up and I'm helping you, like, pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're being helped. You know, trainer over here and guy for food over here. It's like, yeah, but you are pursuing that. So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at.
The body needs help for sure.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't really make our bodies.
I did.
But within your own mind, you can have a person who's fighting a UFC fight every day in their life, just within themselves.
Yeah.
And they're getting the same exact internal reaction
Mm-hmm.
that's affecting the genetics, I think. But whatever.
Again, I view genetics and brain activity, as far as measuring it, it's almost like if you look at another planet and robots. One guy gets pumped up, right? And these robots on their head, they have lights and shit. Let's say he's pumped and he's happy and he's like, yeah! Starts flickering blue lights on his head and shit.
Yeah.
But when he's upset and sad, etc., whatever the fuck, the red lights just stay on. And then the way this guy would view it as, well, you see, it's the red lights that are the problem. We have to remove them. Versus, well, don't you see those are basically like the external like view of how can I say this? Just because he sees it, right? He sees the lights. See how that's not coming? It's not coming from the lights. It's coming from the internal.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like a receptor.
It's
Like how could you have a big muscle car with a great engine? Everything else is built around the car for it to go for speed and making the right turns at these specific speeds. It's something exceptional. But what good is it if there's no driver? Who's operating the car?
It's essentially taking the reflection as the individual.
Sure.
You look down the water and you see a reflection. You see, someone standing next to you. You see their reflection. Like, oh, that's them. No, it's really a reflection, and that's where Peterson goes into with the biology is reflecting something. It's like there's this level that we just don't know. We know it's there, but we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
That's sort of what we mean. Glad Peterson can say it. We can't. What? Where am I at?
To achieve it, under that.
To achieve it. All right. But you look for directions, and someone will see that schools should be that place to show where you want to go. But there is, I think that's something else, but there is government programs. There should be schools for specialized schools created by someone who specializes in whatever the fuck that is. And then people who are truly interested in it move to that.
Yeah. Like, hey, you like video games? We got video game school over here. Oh, you like basketball? We got one just for that. Oh, you like cooking? Right here. No problem. If you want to leave, no problem. If you have an epiphany, like you want to pursue this, all good. You can go over here, do whatever you want.
Yeah. You want to be a straight A student, super high level academics, and play sports, but we have a normal university for you. When you want to, you can do internships at, let's say as a baseball player, you can go to Ken Griffey Jr. University.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Over the summer. You can intern there. And you go back to normal university, you can do your schooling there.
Right, Allen Iverson, I step over you, university.
Yeah. So an individual could be pushed to do something that the individual would not like to do. Of course that can happen. It's called conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this. Listen, son. You're going to have to work for this. It's like, versus like, well, why can't I just pursue it? No. You're going to have to work.
There's things that...
This is what I mean by work. I mean work a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
To earn the money, to go do this. Or, listen, son. Whether you like it or not, I'm sending you to school 3 hours away. And I know you don't want that, but I'm telling you it's best for you. And I know you want to pursue baseball or fighting, whatever. Let's just say it's one of those. But it's like, see how it's like an outside force impeding on the individual's like wants?
Yeah, well, there's things playing off of each other.
Yeah.
And those are the things we're trying to get rid of in a way.
Yeah.
Like if, someone puts a gun to the back of your head and tells you have to do this.
Yeah.
Now it's like, survival is thrown into the equation.
Yeah.
When it shouldn't be really about that. It should be pursuing your goal.
Yeah.
Right? Survival shouldn't be really a part of that equation like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's like
honestly, it shouldn't be.
Obviously, there's like don't eat paint or don't jump off high buildings without a parachute.
Don't drink fluoride.
But those
fluoride. Say it.
Don't drink pure fluoride.
Yeah, that's right.
But I would consider those basic things.
Yeah.
As opposed to in your immediate mind, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to not drink paint.
I don't know, man. That blue looks pretty good. Yeah.
It's hard to not drink paint if a guy has a gun to the back of your head or the back of your family's head or something.
Yeah.
So it's like things in the immediate mind that can get in the way of your focus towards whatever goal.
Yeah. Like winter blue. It tastes good. You ever tasted winter blue? Yeah. Not even that other people choose what you have to do. Government program of schooling.
As the government schools training kids for specific things.
Yeah.
On their own curriculum.
Yeah. That's
been all over.
Yeah.
That's in America.
Yeah.
Right. The curriculum. It's not every teacher was for that when they first started doing like standardized tests for states and shit like that. They're like how am I supposed to teach?
In New York, there's like regions.
Yeah, I have to teach what you guys want me to teach
Yeah.
in order for them to pass a state test that gives our school
Exactly.
funding.
Like some teachers, right? It's odd because I noticed this when I was in school. It was sorry kids, you'll have a sub tomorrow. I have to go learn this over here that they want me to teach you. It's like what?
Yeah.
It's like, fucking shouldn't you already know that? Even so, it's like how is this going down? Then you find out there's money involved. And the funny thing is, versus the money that's involved, and then the amount of money that's being received by these people who are actually working, who are there every day, it's like, you ain't getting dick, are you?
Alright, let's continue with Mr. J-Tay.
45
Let's
minutes.
take, for example, the trait of conscientiousness. We find that the variation in this trait is governed pretty much 50% by genetics. The remaining 50%,
Where's he?
I want to hear this.
in other words, is affected. The variation in this trait is governed pretty much 50% by genetics. The remaining 50%, in other words, is affected by environment. And yet, what we know from these twin studies is that the shared environment of the family is not what matters. What are these environmental effects?
That's such a leap. Where'd you get 50% of conscientiousness is genetics?
That's bull.
That's like saying 50% of happiness is genetics.
Yeah, it's no. Stop.
50% of caring is genetics.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
It's
Doesn't
like
make
you-
sense.
it's like you
or whoever did the study is already making up what conscientiousness is
Yeah.
in the first place.
Just taking the word and
It's like,
putting
what?
their own spin on it.
It's like, what?
It's like if he was here, I'd ask him, dude, what's consciousness?
He can't go
What
there.
is it?
He can't go there.
Probably he can't. He would state someone else's thing. Like, don't state someone else's thing. Tell me what you think. And he probably couldn't. Yeah, you have to do things. Martin. Yeah, you have to do things that other people tell you to do this.
Tell you
A,
what to do.
for passing or a job, etc.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, man. I mean, I would say as far as like standardized, like a grading system based off of something that we could all agree upon, which is correct, versus something that's more of like okay, Bill, you wrote me down what happiness is in your essay and how you feel about it. Well, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. Work for an A next time. Hands him back his test.
I think to a degree, it's like government's trying to herd people like cattle in a way.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like a farm.
They look at stats and they say, we're low on scientists.
Yeah.
We need to make this more important
So they breed
in the
it.
curriculum.
Yeah. So it's like breeding.
Yeah.
No, by the way, they can't shape what you want, but they can shape the environment which you're around.
Yeah.
It's like now looking for this amount of students for whatever. For science or for mathematics or for NASA.
Yeah. A scientist who is told to try and cure cancer is much different than a doctor or scientist that actually pursues that.
Yeah.
They're like this has been running in my family I've seen family members die from this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking cure this thing.
Yeah.
Those are two different things going on, and I think discounting the care for doing
Well, that's
that
the hero.
is a huge fucking problem.
That's the hero.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. The difference. One's a hero and one isn't. Just guess.
Yeah. And these guys, the Jared Taylors and whoever else, that book, Robert Overwhelming, whatever the fuck his name is, they're discounting that thing. That's vitally important.
Martine, unfortunately, that's how it is. Yes, but it's by people. People make the choice and people shape the world.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they shape tsunamis and shit. I have no idea if they could or not.
Global warming.
Yeah. But the point is, it's like, if people understand, like truly understand why certain things in this world, there's a right and there's a wrong, and many things would be different.
Yeah. I mean, that
takes the existential work I've been talking about.
Forget about raising intelligence. Just if you strictly rose moral intelligence, the world would change completely as far as And I don't just mean like obviously criminals versus cops and all that shit.
Yeah.
I mean like straight up, you'll have better athletes, you'll have better scientists,
Yeah.
you'll have better teachers.
Yeah.
You'll have, like those things will increase tenfold, in my
And
opinion.
if someone said, right, well, you need people to suffer in order for them to pursue that whatever they want to, you know?
They
Like,
will.
Just wait. Just wait. I mean, like physical, economical suffering. If someone said that, and the odd thing is, it's like when I was talking to Martina, I was like, well, would it be better for LeBron James to have everything there necessary for him to pursue whatever he might want to?
Yeah.
Like truly, like listen, dude, you're gonna look at everything, and you're gonna pick and you'll know when you do it.
Yeah.
Versus, fuck, I'm in a poor situation. I have to get through this. I have to do this to make enough money, and they happen to enjoy it. But the thing is, it's
we
like
kicked off. Says stream resumed.
oh, okay.
Martine, did our stream get cut off, man?
Let me just continue.
We're good. I think we're good.
So, it's almost as if it's like, ideally, you know, if we're weighing good ideas versus bad ideas, you would ideally have the scenario where the kid, LeBron kid, has every opportunity presented to him, and no one has to fucking waste half their day doing something they hate in order to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's much different if you had a society where it's like, listen, you have all the basic needs for living, but if you want that Mercedes-Benz because you fucking love cars, that's your thing, you love cars, you can go do this job for it. But it won't take you fucking 50 years to make enough money to go buy it, you know what I mean?
And here's the metaphysical thing to it, right?
Oh, odd enough, right? You said Steph Curry, rich dad, somewhat, basketball player.
NBA. His dad
Who
was
else?
an NBA.
Who else?
Kobe.
Kobe.
Dad was rich.
Yeah.
Played overseas. Kyrie Irving. Dad played pro.
Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Stable household.
Right.
And those are like, you could just take Kobe and MJ and you have like some of the greatest players.
Jeter.
Derek Jeter. Stable household.
Yeah. Not saying they didn't have to work, but the point is, it's like whoever says like, well, the poor guys, you know, it's like, but it's fucked because they don't really have all the opportunities presented for them, you know, for them to really feel like they can pursue whatever they want.
Yeah. Also, think about. I saw his point, and I know I'm gonna have a rebuttal for that.
Well, you have kids? Why did I know about
He
this?
means MJ. I'll get to that. But when it comes to like the Buddha, the lesson of like the Buddha or something like that, like what is suffering, right?
Yeah.
He purposely put himself through suffering to understand what suffering is.
Yeah, he tried fucking me, beat him up, suffering.
I don't know if this is his lesson or not, but it's definitely mine. Is the guy who's walking to the fridge and stubs his toe on the fucking table is like, fuck, suffering.
Yeah.
The fucking robber robbing a museum and drops some precious thing and it fucking shatters. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Suffering? Suffering.
Yeah.
So you don't need economic, social suffering.
Right.
You're gonna suffer regardless.
Yeah.
You're gonna stub your toe.
Yeah.
You're gonna pursue something and fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get dumped by that girl. Whatever the fuck it is.
I dumped her, man.
Either way, you had to suffer to do it.
Yeah.
Unless you're a psychopath.
Yeah. Schools kill drive. Not if you're a champion.
Yeah. But I do understand what he means.
I understand completely. I just want to make that clear.
I remember being in school just like,
Oh, yeah.
fuck this.
Yes.
Fuck
I was
this.
in my guidance counselor. It's like, well, I want to do this. We'll have to be realistic. I'm like, what? No.
Lack of abstract thinking because they're on a timetable.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You gotta think about retirement, James.
Fuck, I'll retire when I want.
Your 401k, man. Oh, look at Jordan's kids.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not great athletes. They're not great basketball
By
players.
choice.
Huh?
By choice.
I would say to a large
That's a
extent.
choice.
Also size. I don't think they grew as much as he did.
Don't matter.
He was like an anomaly.
He's 6'6".
His parents are nowhere near like above
He's
average
100
height.
and what? Or 2 something.
Early in his career, probably like 190 something.
195, and then he bulked up.
And he probably got up to like 210.
210, 215. All right.
He's a strong guy.
Point is, he made the choice.
He was, right? There's stories about him, about how his training methods are.
Yeah.
Like, I missed that shot this game.
Yeah.
Stays after the game's over and takes like 40, not 40, more than that, like 200 to 400 shots of that same shot he missed. That was so important in that game.
Yeah.
He's a crazy person.
Yeah.
He was completely driven by winning.
Yeah.
Right? His gambling shit.
Yeah.
All of it's like driven by winning.
Which makes you think, right? Like,
he's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Losing a card game.
So it's like,
is
your bliss competition?
Yeah.
Or is it singular as far as basketball? I think he loves basketball.
I think it
But
extends outward.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It extends beyond it. It's competition. You love that shit, don't you?
Oh yeah, I think
That's why you fucking play golf, right?
Golf. I think he went to baseball to say, yeah, look, I'm gonna go fucking do it.
That motherfucker hit. It was a mediocre hitter, but mediocre at AA level where all the young best prospects play.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Not only that, you stole bases.
Stole bases.
Dude hit 240.
Hit home runs.
Yeah. He could.
Yeah. And what did he do? He made the hitting coach become his best friend.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm working with you.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Now.
Look at that.
It's like, you know,
So again,
see these rings? This is what I did to do.
Desire, choice. So it doesn't really matter where you come from.
Yeah.
You know.
Shaq's son has heart during the week.
Heart operation.
Oh,
I think.
It can't be the basketball player's son.
I don't know.
Sharif O'Neal is like.
I heard he's big.
He's like 6'10". He's like a top prospect type of guy.
Yeah.
He's not as bulky as Shaq, but he's like lanky and shit.
Get like that.
Yeah.
Like,
he can shoot.
Yeah.
He's more of a Durant looking guy.
Okay. Continue.
All right. J-Tag.
Seem to be chance circumstances. Who you meet when you're growing up. Whether or not you had inspiring teachers in school. Different kinds of vacation experiences you might have had. These are one-off, random, non-systematic environmental effects that are very, very difficult to anticipate, control, or manipulate.
Yeah, which is why you'll hear Charles Murray talk about, like, we don't truly understand how environment and genetics are playing a role. We don't truly understand. This is just a study of.
Isn't that funny? We're gonna purposely leave that out. Whenever this dude and fucking Stephen Molyneux or Sam Harris.
Even Sam Harris.
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna purposely leave out the purpose of the individual. You know?
Murray brings up the individual.
No.
With Harris.
I said he says it.
Yeah.
But they leave it out.
Yeah.
They fucking purposely leave it out.
There's
because
also,
if you're gonna look at the fucking thing, the whole study and thing, okay, we're gonna take it for what it is, but you also have to take everything included. Meaning, but we should never disregard what the individual is or does or the choices that they make because it shapes everything. Boom, there you go. You can't fucking discredit that because if you do, that means you're purposely looking over something. That means corruption.
Yeah.
That's corruption.
Yeah, him. Fuck. Maybe that's new. Cause I remember
I'll look it up.
like a couple weeks ago I was looking up like top high school players. He was one of them. So, and I didn't hear anything problems with him. If I had to guess, enlarged heart. Come on, man.
Maybe.
Fucking Shaq's your dad, but you're like this slender type of guy. Maybe. All right, let's continue.
And so to get back to what I was saying earlier about what this means for social theory, the importance of creating environments that will result in equality. It means that all of these efforts essentially are for naught. That within the broad bounds of general middle class or lower middle class to upper middle class households, your outcomes are going to be essentially the same, and to the extent that they are different and caused by environment, they're caused by chance, unsystematic factors that we simply cannot manipulate in an intelligent and consistent way. This really is, as I say,
Missiles.
to the extent that they are different and caused by environment. They're caused by chance, unsystematic factors that we simply cannot manipulate in an intelligent and consistent way.
Yeah, it's called the self. Psychology. I mean, you just start speaking to like psychoanalysis, people who are into that field.
Yeah.
Like why not go there if you're so curious about the psyche of people? Why are you stopping at genetics and race?
Yeah.
And then those
Like
things
why?
aren't even holding up.
No.
Right? I told you about the fucking Nigerian immigrants.
Yeah.
Are
It's
coming over
funny.
here and scoring
like-
better than all the
Exactly.
others.
Exactly. Let me just say this real quick. It's like the argument that he makes, right? It's like, okay, you want to use these argument statistics? We'll fucking look at them too. And it turns out they're skewed. Completely skewed.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a fucking liar, dude.
Yeah.
This dude's lying.
And this is the response you get with the Nigerian immigrants. They're like, well, look at the average of their place. Like, is any of their place like dirt poor?
Yeah.
Does that factor in?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
But again,
Let's be honest.
Yeah. The reason why we'll do videos on this guy is because, you smell fucking funny, man.
And someone asked.
Yeah.
Our last two.
Sure. But the point is, he's a fun boy.
Yeah,
He's a fun boy. Like, you're funny, man.
I wouldn't want to see him in an argument with a philosopher, a real philosopher.
No, he would get.
Not naked.
That'd be scary.
Oh, the guy whose book he was holding up, the Blueprint book.
Yeah.
That guy said, "It's like, oh, I just got out of the I guess he was starting out in philosophy academically,
Yeah.
and he's like, I had to get out of this because they're not really like, there's nothing grounded here." And I'm like, I can believe that. I can believe that because they're not applied. They're just thought experiment after thought experiment after thought experiment.
That's not true.
In academic philosophy, for sure.
If they said, you should academic philosophy.
Yeah.
No, that's different.
Like
That's
university
that's different.
philosophy.
That's different.
Yeah.
Rather than this, okay, everybody, you're gonna tell me what's true.
Yeah.
Go. That's different. Martin can't listen to his bullshit. Well, the point is, yeah, I get it. But the point is, it's like I'm gonna listen to him that way. Whenever if he shows up, which he probably won't because he's a coward, or somebody like him makes an argument for that on a grand stage and claims he's speaking for most of the people, which he isn't, and claiming that what he's saying is good. Like, I'm doing the right thing. I can be there and say, no, you're wrong. Like, you're wrong. And I'll tell everybody why.
And personally, I like to look into things to where if some random person ran up on me on the street and asked a question about something,
Yeah.
I could, have an answer
Yeah.
and honestly say something. That's the main part for philosophy because you can stretch your hands out into all these different areas, including sports. Say, what's this fighter's motive here? Like, that's when you see like shit talking, all that too.
Yeah.
That's why I like philosophy so much. It stretches its hand into all the other like, categories. All right, more JT.
This really is, as I say, it's a nail in the coffin of the view that all of our differences are the result of environment.
I don't know who's making that claim.
It's a no in the coffin.
I think there's people that
Wrong.
they want it to be environment, but I don't think anything supports that.
No.
I definitely don't support that.
Here's the thing, right?
Otherwise, there is no self.
It's like your environment, right? If you're in an environment full of drug dealers, well, I guess that means you have no choice. You can be a drug dealer, gangbanger, slinging coke and shit.
Yeah.
If you're not slinging that shit, you can be cooking it.
Yeah.
You got no choice.
But it does have an effect. It can have an effect.
Oh, I'm not saying it won't.
I'm
saying it can.
It can. And then there's the thing where scientists, I think, get completely lost, and Jared Taylor, with probably some other motive in mind, follows suit. Mm-hmm. And that's that genetics dictating our behavior. They're essentially saying we are our brains.
Yeah, that's bull.
That's the problem.
The brain is something, I think it's very, very interesting. I think it's nothing to disregard, just like anything else.
Oh, it's important. I
Yeah,
think
sure.
it's a hard drive.
Yeah. But if that's your thing, if you find that interesting, then I'm all with you, man. I think it's really interesting too, you know.
Yeah.
But I view it, the hard drive. I view it as, right, in the imaginary, hypothetical scenario, where it's basically the car. It's a big muscle car, you know, and the brain's the engine, you know, and you, who you are, the individual is behind the wheel. And you take that individual out, then there's nobody there. Then what is that? What good's a hard drive without anybody behind it, operating it within the computer? Like,
right.
What good is it?
There's storing memory, then there's using the memory and applying it to something. I remember that knives can cut, so that I don't cut my hand when I use a knife.
Like you burn your hand on the fucking stove, and you're like, I liked it.
It's just like, dude, I'll save that.
Yeah.
Folder HG74.
Martin, he just goes with his theory. That's funny, right? Because his theory, right, is basically what? Genetics and race intelligence go together. They're hand in hand, right? Just wait. So then his arguments for that, whatever he uses to back it up, let's say he uses studies, statistics, etc. You see, even if you look into those things and you apply them, which you're supposed to, it doesn't hold up.
It doesn't even make sense on its face.
So the thing is, it's like I would argue that he doesn't even fucking believe in his own theory.
I mean, look at it, right?
Hold on.
This is what they say. They say your environment dictated your genetics, right? Mm-hmm. Adaptation, things like that. Mm. Then your genetics dictate your behavior. So it's like, and now all of a sudden, environment's not so large of a factor on who you are, quote unquote. If you are your genetics, and environment's dictating genetics, then it's like, what? They need to make an explanation for that.
Millennial woes, all caps.
Oh, it's him. This is his video.
LOL.
This is his video.
Welcome, dude.
Welcome, sir. Please let us know any critiques you have.
Feel free to call in with Google Hangouts.
Yes.
All right, let's continue.
And that if we just have the right environmental interventions, the right kind of schooling, the right kind of supplemental programs for those who are not doing so well, we will all end up at the finish line together. This is not the case. Absolutely not the case. And to the extent that our environment...
It's not the case because of, choice, care, other existential values. Not just, I'm programmed to do this, I go do that. That's why it can't be purely environmental. It can't be purely genetic. There must be something underlying the behavior. Something deeper to a person, not just their genetics. Either which way you go, if you go purely environment, purely genetics, or purely a mixture of both, there is no you there. You are completely, or nature is your dictator, period.
Yeah.
Your biology is your dictator.
And you're a robot. Purely.
Come on,
Be right back.
come on, millennial. Fucking dare you, man. Dare you.
environments are similar. And increasingly, with compulsory education, with proper nutrition for people, our environments are, at the most basic level, becoming extremely similar. To the extent they are similar, the differences in results are going to increasingly reflect heredity. They're increasingly going to reflect DNA. This,
except for the African immigrants that come over here, it does. Except there, right?
This is something that I believe that the left will not accept, despite the evidence. That people who...
Once again, more of the SJW things, like the left and the right, like, get rid of the echo. And it's more of a, what's it called, reverb? I think it's more of that than an echo, but I'll try. As long as you're not trolling. Please tell me you ain't trolling. Let's see how that works. If that doesn't work, sorry. you'll be stuck with listening to arguments rather than super technological blah. All right, more JT.
Cling to this idea that environment is everything. Those people are simply going to have to die off because they have staked their careers on environmental intervention, on programs of uplift, and it will be impossible for many of them to admit, well, I've been wrong all my life.
All right, here's the thing, right? Clearly, in my opinion at least, well, I'd say it's more than an opinion, but environment on its own is not the determining factor of who a person is and how they act. It's not at all. But that argument gives room for guys like Jared Taylor to make this almost polar opposite argument. Look at his argument with multiculturalism, right? He says, he looks at the argument that multiculturalism is a good thing. Clearly it's not, because then that's the thing dictating who a person is or how society acts. So then he jumps to the exact opposite side to say, well, it's bad. Multiculturalism is bad. He's doing the same exact fucking thing here. He's using dumb arguments and arguing against it in the opposite direction, and now he's a fucking messiah figure. Apparently. Tell me I'm wrong. Am I wrong about that?
It's basically like this, dude.
Is multiculturalism a bad thing?
No.
Because you have to hold up the argument that it's a good thing from the opposing team. You have to hold that argument up in order to have that one. When really it's neither, right? It's neutral.
Get rid of the echo.
I tried. It is what it is. I think it's...
Hey, dude. It's not. I listened to it. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I don't want to be a dick to you.
Who cares? If it's not horrible, I mean, right?
I'm not trying to be a dick, but
it
smells like someone who disagrees with us, so they're just looking for something.
I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that.
Sorry,
it's like this, right? This guy's argument, Jerry Taylor's argument, right?
Yeah.
His idea. What the problem is. It's basically like a temple, and the pillars are holding up that temple. I come around with a hammer, which is the opposing argument, and I smack that fucking pillar and shit. That shit's gonna come crumbling down. That's the point.
Well, if he wanted to go the direction where he's going now with the genetics thing, he has to make a leap in human ingenuity that hasn't been found yet, which is, what is the source of consciousness?
Yeah.
He will have to prove that it comes from the brain in order for any of this behavioral genetics bullshit to hold up.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to get woo-woo here and say I know it's not the brain that's the end-all be-all of human consciousness or who a human is. But where's the facts? I don't have the facts for that, so sorry.
How can I write down on paper for you? Well,
Yeah.
tell me, then I'll know. Like, I can't tell you. Christopher, I can't tell you. But for some people, they need statistics and studies that were made up by people to say what is or what isn't. But in reality, it's really so we can come to this close to the closest point of our understanding of what could be, or what could possibly be, which is called the theory, scientific theory. Like, come on, guys, come on.
Probabilities.
Probabilities. They're probabilities.
And probabilities are worthy. It's just you have to state them as probabilities, not as these are facts.
Yeah.
This is the truth.
Look at the facts. Like, those aren't facts. Okay.
You guys are all debunking each other as time goes by.
Yeah.
Right. I watched another guy's video where I believe he was talking about Sam Harris and Charles Murray, and they're talking about genetics. And then this guy's video is like, well, there's this new thing called epigenetics. Not that I know what that is, but it's something where people are upgrading each other as they go.
Intelligence Wisdom says he's measuring intellectual capacity, not consciousness.
Well, what is intellectual capacity? You mean memory? How much information I can hold? Because that says nothing about intelligence, does it? Intelligence has to be applied, right? What stops me from eating a water bottle as opposed to eating an apple?
By the way,
it's applied, right?
Yeah. By the way,
there's abstraction going on.
If anybody wants to call them with Google Hangouts, they can.
Hopefully it's not 10 people at the same time.
They can take turns. It don't matter to me.
Yeah, intellectual. I think what you're trying to say with intellectual capacity is how smart someone could actually, how smart as an IQ test smart. How smart could they possibly be?
Yeah.
And it's like, shouldn't you understand consciousness to get to that?
Yeah. And the way he's using the word
Well,
consciousness,
it's like, who is
or
a person, right?
conscientiousness or whatever.
It's like, if you're gonna go to human intelligence, like, well, who's a fucking person? What is that?
Yeah.
What is a person first?
What constitutes a person?
If you want to be scientific about it, right? Shouldn't that question be answered first?
Yeah.
What constitutes a person?
And what bothers me about this is he uses the word consciousness, conscientiousness, whatever have you, identity, who you are, all these words. It's like, okay, and now we're using statistics to back up your theory. If you have no idea what these things are, what they truly are,
Yeah.
you know, like no, I wouldn't go with existential like language here, you know.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Intelligence Wisdom says his main point is that the same way that genetics determines height and ability, intellectual capacity is also genetic. That's wrong.
Which is saying the brain.
Yeah.
Otherwise, is it a ethereal cloud floating over my head that's dictating intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna go genetics, you have to go biologically, right? Not metaphysically.
He says yes, IQ test, abstract reasoning. He says you're talking about spiritual issues that are beyond the intellect.
I'd say they are part of the intellect,
I say it's hand in hand.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to my example, right? Let's go back to my example. Why don't I eat a water bottle as opposed to eating an apple? Hold on. Why don't I eat a water bottle as opposed to eating an apple, right? That's a certain type of intelligence, you could say. But then there's, why don't I force someone to eat a water bottle over an apple? Now it turns into morality. So it's like, where's the line drawn between the spiritual idea and the intellect idea? I don't see much of anything there.
All right. Millennial Wolves. Consciousness is a different thing from conscientiousness.
We know that. It's just conscientiousness is not a physical thing. I can't hand you that in a cup, right? Like happiness, I can't hand you a cup of happiness.
You guys have no idea what you're talking about. I've heard that before. And
That's not an
no,
argument.
intellectual capacity is not memory. Again, two very different things.
I didn't correct myself. I was asking do you mean what their possible height of IQ could possibly be? That's their capacity. How smart could they actually reach? So,
I'm sorry, but you are not equipped for discussing this topic. You need knowledge that, at present, neither of you apparently has. Call in.
like what? Like what?
Intelligence Wisdom.
Is it philosophy? I'm not understanding philosophy? Is it wisdom? Is wisdom missing?
Intelligence Wisdom, so our physical abilities also belong to their spirit or consciousness?
Wait. So our physical abilities also belonging to the spirit. How they're applied, yes. Right? If I considered the brain as just a memory bank, now the intelligence in a metaphysical way would be how it's applied.
Care.
It's like, I remember I can't eat plastic, but I can eat apples. I'll choose an apple because once you it gets deeper, and it's like, oh, the will to survive. I want to survive, so I need to nourish myself. I can't do that eating plastic bottles. Right? There's an existential underpinning going on there. Next.
I bet you heard before, LOL. Yep. Well, you have equated these things.
Equated what?
Intelligence Wisdom, no. Their capacity.
Equated consciousness and conscientiousness? Is that what he means?
I might have fucked up my speech. So I'll be honest.
I thought you did it fine, but
Possibly.
maybe I don't remember it correctly.
No, but their like you said, no, but their capacity. A woman has a spirit. No, does this woman's spirit have the same physical capacity that a man does? Physical spirit.
Same physical capacity?
My bad. I read that wrong. A woman's spirit have the same physical capacity that a man does.
Does a woman... What? Does this woman have the spirit of the same physical capacity? I'd say no, they're physically different. Your spirit doesn't necessarily directly affect your body that type of way. right? If my dream's to be in the NBA, but I'm 5'2", I don't magically grow overnight because I want to do that so bad. And then talk about capacity with the brain capacity. If you mean potential IQ, or do you mean how much information I can hold? So they're two different things. As far as level of intelligence, that's dictated by the being or spirit, whatever you want to call it, whatever their pursuit is.
Yeah.
If they want to play basketball, they need the intelligence of a basketball player. Thus, they will pursue that intelligence. If it's something else, they follow that.
Again, it's choice.
If you mean memory bank, then that's where things get tricky.
Yeah.
Then it's like, how much can a person remember, and how will that apply to said
Again, there's some people who claim they have a photographic memory.
Photographic memory, yes, you can remember all the things in the world, but your intelligence doesn't really kick in until you apply it.
All right. Millenniule says yes, intelligence, wisdom, exactly. Then he says again, so it doesn't affect the intellect either. Exactly. He said, you've proven my point. No, the IQ is just like the physical capacity.
Then you're shapeshifting my definition of IQ. Maybe even the straight up idea of IQ as far as the the scientific definition of IQ. You might even be construing that one because, right, I said spirit, quote unquote spirit, certain intelligence. Then you have the capacity thing that they're talking about. I don't see how I proved your point with that.
And Mr. Taylor is saying, he's probably typing.
It's not like the physical capacity. They're not the same exact thing. They're not the same thing. I'm saying one is a memory type of thing, and one is a applied memory type of thing. Those are different.
Millenniyule Wolves, I will let Jared know about this channel and how to contact you. Maybe he will debate you. I don't know. Good luck.
Yeah, I already emailed him, and
we don't have enough clout.
Yeah, we didn't have enough followers for Jared to waste his time. My apologies.
We can always talk to you, though, dude.
I want to go back to intelligence, wisdom.
We can always talk to you, man.
So it doesn't affect the intellect either. You mean the quote-unquote soul or spirit? Of course it does. It's the thing dictating how things are applied, right? If I don't care to live, I'll choose a donut over a celery stick or something like that. If I'm, 3 hamburgers away from a heart attack, I'm like, fuck it. Now, people outside be like, that's not smart.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's not what's going on with them.
Intelligence Wisdom says some races are super adept at physical capacities and other are more adept at intellectual capacities. That's wrong.
Nah.
That's wrong, dude. Because there's choice that's involved.
I would definitely say there's like physical, right? If my mom's 6'8", my dad's 7'5",
yeah,
like I'm probably gonna be tall.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But how do I apply that thing? How do I apply this body that I genetically got?
Proven through the measurement of IQ testing. Go ahead.
That won't work either. Yeah. Once again, I'm not using the basic intelligence, quote unquote, like the scientist guys, as far as you can't, it's too narrowed down for a particular type of intelligence. You know what I mean? I mean, it probably considers abstract thinking to some degree, but it doesn't. It's abstract in the sense of, in a logical sense of the word, like the Stefan Molyneux.
Well, singular.
Here's your circle equal to 3 circles intertwined, and then you have a triangle equals to a question mark.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 3 triangles intertwined.
Yeah.
Some people can't figure that out. It's like, what if someone steps in with their own abstraction and say, well, I don't care about this.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Care.
Intelligence Wisdom.
How do you know if you're smart?
Yeah.
You get an A.
Yeah.
It's like,
fuck that.
Come on.
Intelligence, wisdom. Now, spiritual qualities are things such as compassion, and wisdom is beyond intellect and body.
Spiritual qualities are things such as compassion. Yeah, that's an expression. Wisdom is like a state of being. I don't think they're beyond intellect. I think they tie into each other. You might have missed earlier when I was talking about the ego and how it's like a body. The body's representative in the mind in a way. In the mind, I don't mean the brain. I mean like a metaphysical mind, to where it's a negotiator between internal content and external content. My feelings and, a bear running at me.
Sure.
Two different styles of content. Now, there's also theories that the internal affects the ego, that can affect the body, which is, let's take a cancer patient in fear, right? Internal content.
Yeah.
Hits the ego. He was like, what the fuck? Stress.
Yeah.
Affects the body.
Yeah.
Something simple like that. It somewhat works the other direction too. As in, fuck, that's a bear. Through the ego. Ego filters it. Bear means eat me or kill me.
Death.
Fear.
Yeah. You're thinking intellect is more than what it is.
Now I'm giving it the credit it's due.
Yeah.
I think there's a wide range of things.
This isn't even overreaching in it by any manner.
Yeah.
Now what he's saying is definitely reaching.
He's a little too genetic heavy. You can't genetic heavy and arguing against people who are environmental heavy. And it's like both of these things don't hold up. Just like the multiculturalism argument of multiculturalism is good or multiculturalism is bad. It's like, no, it's neither, right? If you have a multicultural society and they're all nice to each other, it's like that quote unquote scientifically eliminates multiculturalism have anything to do with it.
When people talk about IQ, they're only talking about academic type capacity.
Exactly, and that's my problem.
No, I'm limiting what intellect is. But here's the problem with that. Now it crosses over into existential ideas here, because now he's talking about.
That's why I brought up consciousness.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you hear him say, "What? Multiculturalism is good or is it bad?" And he's supporting supporting the theory or his theory that it is bad. Now we're crossing into what's good versus what's evil. What's a good idea versus what's a bad idea. And he has no clue. He has no idea.
Yeah.
That's the problem. See, I'm not the one that's basically neglecting intelligence by itself and viewing it as a wide variety, a spectrum. What he's doing is basically, here's the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
That's intelligence to him. This little space out of this whole spectrum.
Yeah, once you say certain words, speaking about a certain thing, because remember, when he, like you said, academic intelligence, that's not exactly what he means, right? He's talking about behavior. He's talking about personality. He's probably talking about, if you're going to say that, you might as well talking about morality, as in these people will be less moral than these people based on IQ or whatever, and IQ is based on genetics. So what do we have? We have black people act this way, which means IQ, morals down here, and whatever race acts this way. Look at our IQs, morals, blah 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 blah.
Like, no.
And it's like it's not just intelligence. Once he says certain things in a certain context, there's more on the table now. That's why we jump into it.
Yeah.
That's when it turns into a philosophical question, and I don't think people question him on that.
So
like,
once again,
Mr. Millennial.
Yeah. So once again, it's not a matter of the fact that you don't know what you're talking about. It's, well, no. He's making an argument. He's using this language that definitely, and the point that what he's saying is good.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
And I like intelligence wisdom because he's fucking saying shit.
I like it,
He or
man.
he or she is saying shit. Millennial woes, whatever the fuck. He didn't say much, man. He said, no, you're wrong.
No, this is why
you're wrong.
Well, this is why I respect this.
Like, if you got, like, you have a channel where you talk about shit, man.
Yeah.
This should be, like, right up your alley.
Yeah.
You sound like a trolling type commenter.
Yeah. So,
Where it's
yeah.
like, you don't know what you're talking about.
So for intelligence,
awesome.
wisdom,
Sorry.
we appreciate it.
Yeah. Support. Salute.
All right. Where do we leave off? Now, the being of person, the spirit, is beyond the intellect and the body, and at the level we're equal. And at that level, we're equal.
Yes, we are equal at that level. No one's saying there's equality of outcome here.
I'm not saying that.
No one's arguing for that.
No.
It's just some guys will choose to be Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
And other guys will choose to be Sir Isaac Newton.
Sure. That's based off of what? Oh, let's see. Care and, well, I love basketball. I'm going to pursue this. Versus Michael Tessarian, who says, well, I fucking love philosophy. And all these things that tie into it and everything else. So I'm going to pursue that. There you go. There's care. Then there's intelligence with that itself. Moral intelligence, basketball intelligence.
Yes.
And everything that goes within those things is like a spectrum itself.
Yeah. So that's why we hear that's why we hear more than him just talking about IQ.
Yeah,
There's
it's
much more on the table.
It's not reaching. It isn't.
Yeah.
So to simplify what Mr. Taylor is saying, all humans at the level of spirit or being is equal. In intellect, some are stronger, and in physical capacities, others are stronger. But we all have innate abilities. But here's the problem.
That's sort of what we're saying.
That's what we're saying. What he's saying, it's predetermined.
Yeah.
It's predetermined what people, as far as intelligence, what they can, like, as far as what their capacity is. It's predetermined.
And as far as
that's what he's saying.
As far as the spirit thing, he's not making a case for that at all.
Like he talks
he's
about,
saying there is no spirit there. There is no individual there.
Yeah. He said, white identity. Like, what is that? Explain to me what white identity is. There is no such thing.
He's also toting around a book that says genetics dictate your behavior. Now, if somehow you're still you, but some sort of it's like the self sitting in a fucking spaceship and watching the body robotically act and think and shit like that. Like, come on, man.
It isn't predetermined. It isn't. That's wrong.
No, it's not predetermined. Well, if you ask me, it is, but I'll have a woo-woo answer for you.
I'm talking about on the level, on the surface for where that argument stands.
Yeah.
That's not true.
I'll say it is, but it's not dictated by genetics. That's not the determining factor. I think the genetics factors are a response to the internal thing. Also, their whole theory is based off of, like, I think Stefan Molyneux brings this up.
Oh, wait.
I got it. Stefan Molyneux brings this up of, well, we had to suffer. That's why we're smarter now.
Yeah.
Like, he did a whole tweet thing about that. It's like, so your environment dictated your genetics, which now dictates your behavior. But if someone brings up environment now, it has no effect. Or has very little effect compared to genetics. It's like, what?
All right. Intelligence Wisdom says he has. He has often made that people are equal. Dude, you already said that women are less strong than men.
I did not say that.
I didn't say that either. I said there's difference.
I said there's differences.
In, like, structure, shape.
And that's only speaking now.
Yeah. Right now.
If the whole presupposition is that environment shaped genetics in the first place, then what says it can't go the other way or act in a different way?
Dude, it'd be easier if you.
And that's within their argument, not mine.
It'd be easier if you can Google Hangouts. You can call in. It's probably a way easier than typing. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah.
Physically. Wait.
Yeah.
That women are less strong than men physically. I'm like, well, again.
Yeah. Once again, I think there's more to it, but I'm trying to state through Jared Taylor's argument and people like him that if the environment shaped your genetics in the first fucking place, right? We had to go to cold weather areas in the other state in Africa, and then we had to develop this certain type of intelligence. Like, oh, so you created it then.
That's right. Do you believe that on average women are stronger than men?
In today's world, no. Physically, no. In this world, I think he means lifting weight and
Oh, physical strength.
Yeah. I'd say yeah. Men are. I meant men are stronger than women. That's what I meant. On average?
So too. On average.
Yeah, sure.
But then there's all these other things that have to go into consideration with that.
Yeah, what dictated those circumstances?
Is there conditioning involved?
I don't know.
Did their environment not, like, as far as environment and as well as a form of tyranny, not allow them to pursue whatever they may have wanted to, that could possibly make them physically stronger?
Yeah. They make all... It's weird. All these guys make cases for environmental things, and then they say, oh, it just stops there.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Like,
now.
no, and I have to go beyond that.
It's like, yeah.
You have to go... I don't want to say beyond. You have to go further. Meaning, you have to put in consideration of... As far... Yeah, again, I'm going to say it again. Choice.
Yeah.
Did Amanda want to play football? Or did her mom and dad say, no, you're a girl?
Ben Shapiro.
There you go.
And they already start out with the arguments like,
okay,
well, men like certain hips because it's childbearing hips and they're naturally attracted to it. It's like, well, didn't the observation, the environmental factor have to happen first?
Yeah.
Before that? Or are they just wake up out of their sleep like, I like big hips now?
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Or is it conditioning?
Yeah. And I can easily see things shifting in another direction.
Yeah.
Big butts are new, by the way. They're somewhat new as being in.
It's become dramatic.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. And this is predetermined genetically. Genetically, men are physically stronger than women. That's what he's saying.
Not as an absolute, but in today's world, yeah.
Yeah.
As in, right? You have a kid. Dad's usually bigger than mom. And then you have a son. And then the masculine traits. You have a man and you take another couple. They have a daughter. Might take the traits of the mom, and then that's when you start seeing men bigger, that stronger, whatever, than women.
Yeah.
If you had a meek man, not weak but meek, like a smaller dude.
Yeah.
And you had a super athlete mom.
Like Andy Dick and what's her name? Marion.
Who?
What's her super track athlete?
Marion Jones.
Marion Jones.
Yeah.
Even before the steroids and all that.
Let's say that becomes a new thing. Super athlete women versus with.
So I'd say that's like almost a cultural thing.
Yeah.
An environmental thing. And there's choice involved too. Huh.
Yeah.
Like Andy Dick could have lifted weights and become an athlete by his own. Everybody else could have become that. But I view it as, let's see, conditioning. Environment does play a part. But conditioning as well. So if you understand the two, then you understand there's choice. So let's see here.
Nonetheless, this has nothing to do with intelligence, by the way, from my perspective.
No.
I don't see how those... because then this is why we asked the consciousness question, because you're essentially saying your brain is your dictator of intelligence.
That's ridiculous.
Or dictator of who you are.
It's like a motor operator of physical function, I would say. Genetically, men are physically stronger than women.
Yeah, you read that.
Okay. All right.
Let's continue with JT.
We go for like 10 minutes.
It's only 8.
Oh, pause it. Okay, so I know you think that what he's saying is that Mr. Taylor is overreaching his definition of IQ.
No, he's underreaching.
My bad.
He's... depend. That's like a perspective thing.
Yeah.
I'd say he's narrowed it down too much without considering other factors.
Oh, this is good. All right. He states that crime is a result of low IQ, but this has been shown even more within races. Don't you see how that's stupid? That is self, right? It's silly. See, crime is low because of IQ. In regards to how do you measure IQ? You know, through academic IQ, is that what you mean? Like, we're going to measure IQ. Look, they have low IQ. See the crime rates? Versus, well, what's their moral IQ? Did you ask them that?
Yeah.
See, he won't go there. He will not.
No, he can't go. That goes beyond just the...
And I can tell you he's wrong right now.
IQ test.
I can tell you he's wrong right now because he talks about white identity. If you have any understanding of what identity is,
Yeah.
the external, meaning the color of my skin, or who my father's father was, or my mother's mother, and what land they grew up in, and the environment, has nothing to do with identity.
Yeah.
Who you are.
Intelligence, wisdom.
Hold on, wait. I didn't say how, just wait. Yeah, how's it feel? All right. But how are these scientific findings, I'm not calling the scientific findings stupid. He's measuring academic intelligence within a group. And now he's making false equivalences. Oh, you see the crime rates and their low IQ, you see? Like, come on, dude. I'm not calling the numbers stupid. I'm calling somebody that's making the theory that's based off, see, they're performing all these crimes because they have low intelligence through academia.
Yeah.
Through academic intelligence. Like, no, that's not it.
When I bring up how much income these people are making, or their poverty level and all that shit, the next response I usually hear, well, what about the white people in West Virginia or whatever? Like,
I was about to say
trailer
that.
parks and labs. Like, well, they live in like rural areas, right?
And there's others too. Hold on. However, they measure IQ is showing that if it is low, they commit crime. So we can talk about the corporate CEOs, Wall Street. I'm pretty sure academics and stuff like that. Is one of these guys, governments, as well as these guys that went to these universities that are in high ranking in government jobs, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Are their IQ low? My bad. As far as IQ, how are you going to measure that? Is that low? Because they went here.
Yeah, did all?
So how does that measure?
Did all the scientists that worked on the atomic bomb? Are they criminals? Do they count?
See how that itself. That's why I'm not calling the findings stupid. I'm calling, if you say that it's because they have low intelligence, because they can't do a certain equation or they can't do this or that.
Yeah.
As far as academics, that is dumb. That's dumb. I agree with your point. He's only measuring violent crime. Yes, but now he's equating it with actions, Oh, my bad. I fucked that up. He's saying that because of their low IQ.
Yeah.
Because of their low IQ, they're doing these crimes, which plays into morality, which plays in him saying we should separate. People will be happier. That's the problem.
That's Molyneux as well. I went to Poland and there's no trash or pollution.
Hold on. Meaning face-to-face violent crime. I don't discriminate crime or violence or tyranny, dude. Whether it's somebody signing a piece of... Just wait.
Man.
Whether it's a white dude in some sort of office that's signing a piece of paper that's going to some general that's going to go bomb a third world country, or it's knife-to-knife fighting... It doesn't, because it's the same thing. It is the same thing.
Intelligence, wisdom. You sound smart, but that was the dumbest thing you've said so far. Not calling you dumb, just saying, come on. I can hire a hitman. Does that mean I don't count as a violent crime statistic? If I hire someone to do it for me? It's like, come on, man. Are guys in Nevada on their computers flying drones in the Middle East and they bomb someone? Did they not kill someone, or just it was the drone that did it, not them? So come on.
He's saying I agree with this point that you're making now.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if you understand what I'm saying right now, right, then you see how it applies with everything else he's saying. It's funny because, again, I don't like arguing statistics because, well, one, I don't really do that. Two, but if we do that, and we look back at these statistics that he's using, or maybe Stefan Molyneux is using, you can see how they're skewed,
Yeah.
Like, what was it?
Certain, African immigrants are scoring higher in the U.S. They're the highest scoring immigrants in the U.S., including Asians and European, UK, and all that.
But it doesn't matter that much to me because again.
They're dictating what intelligence is, first off. And they're dictating it by degrees had and percentage of doctors and shit like that. It's like that says nothing. If your goal is to play basketball like Kobe Bryant and you become a doctor, I consider you fucking dumb. Like, your intelligence is down here. You went to be Kobe and you ended up a doctor? What the fuck? Other than, like, other circumstances.
Then there's different.
But,
like, did you have an epiphany that made you desire to become a doctor? That's the other thing.
I was sort of going in a direction of my parents. I
Ah.
gotta be good. I gotta be a doctor.
That's silly.
But your heart was set out to be Kobe Bryant. Like,
That's
no,
conditioning.
You're dumb.
That's conditioning.
Yeah, I would call that less intelligent.
All right. He's like, I'm saying I agree with this point you're making now. I said that already. No, I'm saying I agree. I'm saying he's measuring this violent crime, but he's putting a twist on it. That's what I'm saying. But here's the thing.
He might be measuring arrests over actual convictions. Just want to throw that out there.
That's big. That's important too. But here's the thing. We don't know whether these high IQ people are really performing white-collar crime or not. There is a sufficient amount of evidence to support the theory that it is happening. Okay? So that means it's a theory. Meaning it's not a fact, it's a theory.
I can name you several open crimes that on the books are not illegal, which is how it's not going to be classified as crime.
Yeah.
If I live in a wealthy county and I, have some influence with politicians and I vote to get a prison in my county, now my county has more representation as far as state government.
Right.
Now I have a reason to support private prisons.
Yeah.
And hope for guys to get a lot more prisoners in this prison.
Sure.
That's more people in my county.
Yeah.
More people in my county. I have more of a more represented vote in the governance of the state.
Yeah.
And on it goes. It's like,
And then there's
those aren't really crimes, but come on.
And then there's
Come on.
right with the government with the government. Okay, is it legal for you guys to invade this country, or do you fund these people that we have evidence to support the theory that they fund this group over here that causes all this havoc? Is it a crime that you lie to us?
It's not illegal.
Oh, it's not illegal, so it doesn't count. Ah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, we don't know. Okay, I said that already, my bad. At the same time, with these low IQ violent crimes, see how that's not an argument now? It isn't an argument. Because now, morality, you have to talk about morality now.
Also, you just go to the LeBron. The
look at
LeBron example. Is he a high IQ person that got, like, as far as their standardized version of IQ? Is he really? Because I think he was in poverty, like, really poor.
Yeah.
He skipped school, basically.
Yeah.
He knew he was going to the NBA.
Yeah.
And then he's in the NBA, and yet I would feel completely safe around LeBron James. I'm awfully sure this guy would not hurt me. He wouldn't rob from me. Like, I'm awfully sure of that. Why? I think he has all the possessions he could ever want.
Sure.
So maybe...
Possessions.
So maybe, your financial standings in the world has an effect on crime as well.
No. But Mr. Taylor's main point is minorities are committing these crimes, and it's not a result of some system that's out to get them.
Yeah, no. I almost 100% agree.
Sure.
I mean, there's cases like the CIA bringing drugs into South Central LA.
Let me say this. It's not. I don't think the CIA is targeting a minority group of people. I'm thinking the CIA thinks, or the government is thinking, okay, how can we make a profit off of this? It doesn't matter who, what, where, when. They look at the best way to make a profit off of these drugs, funneling them into the country, spreading them out just like guns and all that shit, making money off of it.
Yeah.
Then you see how that connects in with the private prisons and just prisons in general, and how it all is connected. So that's what I mean.
Drugs,
I don't think it's targeting a group of people. I think, well, listen, you guys just so happen to be in this scenario right here.
You're
this
the most
happens
vulnerable.
to be, you happen to be in this poor community or this ghetto. And that's how it is.
Yeah.
And then some people will make the dumb argument of, well, they hate us because we look this way. It's like, no, because they can take advantage of you because of where you're at right now. That's why.
And it's like, good job for that comment there. Good job for pointing that out. It's like, okay, Jared, multiculturalism is not a automatic good thing. Good job. And that gives him the leeway to make an opposing argument that is also batshit crazy to me.
Yeah, it is.
to say that it's to go from like multiculturalism is good, saying no, that's wrong. Like, yeah, I agree. In fact, it's bad. It's straight up bad.
Yeah.
How are you gonna have racism if there's no black people around? If they're not here, we can't have racism.
That's what he said.
Look at it logically.
Wow.
It's
You
like
did it.
it's like, dude, that's fucking out there.
Intelligence Wisdom says he thinks that society should be more adjusted to suit people's abilities, but they can.
100%. But he already has a presupposition that, on average, blacks will have lower intelligence.
That's ridiculous.
And we don't exactly know that.
Yeah, but they can only
That's
take
Charles
advantage of. But they can only take advantage. Fuck, my fault. But they can only take advantage is because of the low IQ. No, that's not true either. Look, as far as academics, it's a choice that I make and currently make whether I want to be have high intelligence in the academia, or if I pursue with the route which I did as far as moral intelligence. Okay, it's a choice.
Yeah.
People make it. Okay. As far as what? Oh, what's your environment like? Well, there's good parts and bad parts where I live. But as far as where I'm living currently, and have been for the majority of my life,
Yeah.
it's been good. Nothing too horrible. You know what I mean? As far as living, so it's like what? What are you, like middle class? A little below that? Yeah, right around there. But the point is, it's a choice I can make.
Yeah.
It's a choice I made to pursue what I want or what have you. So this has nothing to do with moral decisions, and the question is the right thing versus wrong, bad idea versus good idea. It has nothing to do with their intelligence as far as academics. It doesn't. That's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah. 100% agree with that.
But don't races have different IQ levels? This has been studied. Go ahead. Just because, look, go ahead.
Now, okay, if you had everyone in the world take an IQ test right now, I'm sure the races will, all the groups, as far as based on race.
Real quick, read that. He's not saying that low IQ people can't live upright.
He's saying they're more prone because of less reflective ability. What? Nah, okay,
That's ridiculous, dude.
that's comparing people to animals almost. Like a dog was like, he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
He bites someone or something.
Yeah.
Didn't know what he was doing. Like, okay. That's a little spooky to me.
Yeah.
But,
No, he's advocating that everybody should be separated.
yeah.
That races should be separated and things will be better. Crime will go down. There'll be no racism. It'll be better. It'll be good. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, yeah, these are questions of morality. And morality isn't like a bunch of complex questions all squished together.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's a simple binary sounding of right and wrong, like a 1 and zeros. It's not, the entire spectrum of numbers and shit like that.
And I can understand.
That's the contemplation
Sure.
part. It's like, why is this wrong? That's the contemplation part.
Right.
But understanding why murder's bad, or understanding murder's bad,
Yeah.
and not murdering is good, is a binary type of scenario. It's a simple
And
1-2 step.
Again, I understand why someone might not understand what the fuck I'm saying or you're saying, because if you haven't done the existential work,
No, I
Just
can
wait.
go into detail with that. It's
Well, just wait.
I'm all over the fucking place.
no, it's fine. It's just that, look, I can understand the argument that well, look at the studies, though. I agree with you guys, but look at these studies. They said this group of people, this race,
Yeah.
has low IQ, and they're performing all these crimes. Look at these people over here. The crime rate isn't nearly as bad, and yet look at their IQ levels.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay. But do you see how if we remove that, right? Okay, their intelligence in regards to what? Academics?
Yeah.
Now, what happens, right, when you have someone who isn't really morally equipped to handle a situation to the point where it's, okay, you got to make a decision. The right one or the wrong one? Meaning like this. Let's say it's whether your academic intelligence is good. Tough decision now. All your shit's gone.
Yeah.
Some sort of crazy economic collapse happens. What are you going to do now? There's no food. that guy has food over there. Are you gonna kill him? What are you gonna do? You gonna resort to murder now? It's you or him. It's survival mode. You see that? How people who don't go that existential question of who I am versus what's right versus what's wrong. My fault. And just like these people in these scenarios here, where it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like you guys didn't even go there yet, but you're already born into this shitty environment, and now conditioning's different. Environment's completely different. Suffering is still the same. Tyranny is still the same, and yet it's like, but you guys are gonna be pushed towards that question, and your ignorance will be kind of out in front of everybody else.
Yeah.
The ignorance of what the moral question is, as far as, do I steal because I'm hungry? Is stealing wrong? Is that a crime? So let me ask you that. Hold on. So let me ask you this. My bad. So let me ask you. I'm reading this wrong. Holy fuck.
Let me ask, why do you think so?
My IQ is shitty right now. So let me ask, why do you think certain minority groups are more violent on average?
Are they more violent on average? First of all, they're measuring violence by crimes committed or suspected crimes in other cases. Mm-hmm. So are we sure they are?
Yeah.
Are we sure they are? Because you can have a particular type of group, as in, let's say you have a small group within a black community who are gang members. They have kids and they raise them up to maybe raise them, maybe not, to be in that type of area. Or maybe people that are ostracized from the group and want to be a part of a family like that.
Yeah.
Like, we're all tight knit, things like that.
Yeah.
Now, if I did the same study, as far as that small group's crime rates, let's say I did the same study on Wall Street, what if those numbers sort of averaged out in a way, as far as crimes committed?
Sure. And
to some degree, you can call them violent crimes.
Yeah.
I'm sure they won't call them that, but
no,
they'll call them white-collar crimes. But
and then there's the other thing as far as the outcome of these actions, which they fully are aware of. Which is no different than some sort of I'm a contractor, Yeah. I'm a contractor, Middle East. I'm U.S. related. It's like, what are you involved in, dude?
Yeah.
Like, huh?
And yeah.
See, that's where you have to go.
Also, you can just look at it simply when you have a bunch of people stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
In giant cities.
He says, we are. But if you don't think certain minority groups are violent in the U.S. today, we have no base to go on.
I didn't say they weren't.
Me either.
Didn't say they weren't.
I'm saying the IQ has not. That's just the wrong way to go about it. The wrong way to go about it.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that act on their immorality. That's the point where I was moving towards.
First of all, it's like this in a way. It's like, okay, minorities. How did it get to this? How did they get to this situation where a majority of minorities are either here, or here? Okay. Are they in the most? Are they in the less desired environment? Why? What happened?
Yeah.
What are their arguments that they're making? Are they saying, well, the system's against us? I would argue, no, it isn't. But let's look into that too. Why? Why is that? Is there conditioning involved? Sure, I'd say so. Now, is it because of their race? Fuck no. Why?
I would say just because of their fucking poverty level more than race. As far as right during the whole war on drugs, they weren't kicking in the doors of Hollywood elite.
No.
While they're snorting cocaine all day, right? Even though cocaine and crack are the same fucking thing.
You cook it differently, man.
They're the same thing.
You cook it differently. It's an art.
What they do is they make it able to smoke so that
crystals.
It's highly addicting or whatever the fuck.
Crystals.
Yeah, sure.
Cook it.
But yeah.
Stir it.
Right, they're watching and rating, these poor neighborhoods, but they're not looking in the Hollywood Hills for cocaine.
Sure, but here's the thing, though. It's like, if we understand how these group of people have gotten into these environments, you could call them ghettos, or less economically, as far as less economic desirable for a place to live. So again, I could call it ghetto or just a place that's less desirable to live in. All right. So these people might be more desperate, a little bit. No matter who you are, it's people, a person, right? Who hasn't asked themselves that moral question: is this right or is this wrong? I think and that's a majority of people. Okay, and hold on. So when the war of drugs happens, I'm not saying it's the system. I'm saying it's a part to play. Or
about conditioning.
Conditioning again. So when the government falls in this drugs, right, and now it's even a worse situation, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the system. I just said it isn't. Well, you have the same beliefs as most liberals. Well, I'm not a liberal. I don't label myself.
I wouldn't care what you call me as far as what group. I'm not, but it doesn't matter.
I'm not saying it's the system. I'm saying it's people.
And you'd have to do some... Here's another thing. I don't hear him bring up any psychological things. Which
That's
is
big, too.
Basically him saying that we are robots.
That's not true either. No, absolutely not.
That's basically him saying that.
No.
Right?
No.
He doesn't talk about ideas like conditioning. I haven't heard him really talk about that.
But you only talked about the system. No, dude. I talked about how a system, which is the environment, does have a part to play, but it only affects the people when they haven't asked themselves that moral question, when they haven't gone the existential route of what's right versus what's wrong. And if people can hold their own on what's a good idea versus a bad idea, this stuff would not happen.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
And we brought up conditioning.
I'm not saying you have to be some master philosopher here. It's just, hey, that's wrong. Because we understand what good is.
Yeah. Once again, you can look at the gang thing, right? It's like, oh, my dad was in a gang, so I'm going to be in a gang. Or my brother's in a gang, I'm going to join that gang. Or the friends I grew up with are in a gang. It's conditioning as well.
Yeah. Just like conditioning, like a man acts.
It's not, and that's not exactly the environment conditioning them, right?
Yeah.
Something has to exist first to make an observation, to feel a certain way about an environment.
Sure.
The I has to exist.
Just like it's no different than a rich kid, you know. Again, a hypothetical situation, which means I don't know.
Yeah.
A rich kid being everything provided for him, right? But he makes a choice. You know what? I want to play basketball. I want to be really good at it. Maybe one of the best. His opinion could be like, oh, there is no best because that's relative to whoever's thinking it. Mm-hmm. But I want to be in that conversation. I want to be the best possible thing I can be. Well, my thing's shooting. I'm going to fucking put everything into that. And everything else will follow suit. Yeah. Look at that. There you go. Well, the environment dictated him. Like, no, because you have a poor kid over here doing the same thing. And the kid that meets in the middle. Oh, there's choice involved. Well, there you go.
I just remembered something I was going to bring up earlier, and that's that I can't say I know, but I'm awfully sure this is what's going to happen. Taylor's going to have no choice but to slowly start moving towards black consciousness, Latino consciousness, white consciousness, Asian consciousness.
He already has.
He hasn't said it explicitly.
He's implying it. You know why?
Not exactly.
Just wait.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
He's not exactly like, what's his name, Vertigo Politics, like that guy?
Yeah.
That guy just outright says it. I think if you look at his argument logically, and scientists are starting to realize there's something more than just your genetics, he will have no choice but to go there for his argument. Like, there has to be a reason why they act so differently. It's like, I don't think they act so differently in the way he's thinking.
It's this. Take away the whole race thing, their skin, all that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
All that stuff. Look at them as people. And not only that, let's also look at the past. Let's not have a cutoff date for history either, as well as, again, we don't know because we weren't there, but evidence that says that this group of people did this to this group of people. Again.
Yeah.
So there should never be a cutoff date. Like, we only measure history only back to 1870, whatever. It's like, huh? But what's wrong with this? The consciousness is conditioned by the race in which it inhabits. Go get that shit.
The consciousness is conditioned by the race in which it Nah. It's an inside out phenomenon, not an outside in. right? There has to be an individual first in order for an observation to even be made, in order for there to even be consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that it works from the skin inward or the biology inward is wrong. I would say there's instinctual things like the id, if you're a Freudian type of guy, instincts, but not who a person is.
Okay. Do you know an expert?
Also, consciousness is conditioned by the self.
Yeah.
We mistakenly think it's the environment, but really it's the self. And Jared Taylor mistakenly takes it as genetics.
So which comes to the conclusion
It's inside out, not outside in.
When we say he doesn't know what he's talking about, when he says identity, consciousness, or conscientiousness, or what have you, that's what we mean. Do you know an expert can tell you what race you are based upon your bones? So what? No, but the consciousness comes into the physical world through the spectrum of race. That's wrong too, dude.
You're leaning towards woo-woo territory. If you want to hear it, I'll go on about it.
You could tell us what you think consciousness is.
But it depends what you mean by... Do you mean awareness?
That's what I mean. Like, do you know what we mean by consciousness?
Because the way I look at consciousness, there's a whole swell of things happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, your subconscious is interacting with your consciousness at the same time. Your subconscious is interacting with your consciousness.
That's right.
Yeah.
Say it,
Whatever.
Say it right, sure. Say it right.
So,
say it right to go home.
And in that subconscious, unless you've done the work, is the self.
All right.
So when you start, it's like, man, you start staring at a TV, like, man, I really like this basketball thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's your subconscious interacting with your consciousness, saying pursue that, and your ego and all your other psychological.
So consciousness is the being. Well, we don't need to go this deep. Yes, we do. We do need to go there. Because if we're gonna, see how this ties in to the idea of what's the consciousness, what it relates to, and now he's talking about moral decisions taking place. Like the races should be separate. They should be separate. Like Kate,
also,
you're wrong, dude.
Yeah.
Like you're wrong.
Also, does subconscious not mean being then? What does that mean? Right? If consciousness itself is the being, where does the subconscious go? Where does the shadow go? Where are these things that are not at the forefront of your mind all the time?
That's what I mean. It's like, would Jared Taylor understand what I mean when I say shadow work?
No, I doubt that.
And by shadow work, I mean looking into the internal, where it's the unknown, which is many people step away, at least from what I see evidence-wise. It's like, oh, you don't want to go there, do you? Remember that shitty thing you did not too long ago? Remember that? And everything else surrounding that? Or this nice pillar that's holding up the way you view whatever could be, or the world is. It's like it's not holding up well. It's imbalanced.
Who knows if he's even heard of like Carl Jung or not, or Artie Lang, things like that.
Okay, well, most people are asleep and go by their program, which includes racial identity.
Yeah, we called it conditioning. That was our word.
Yeah, conditioning. And
it's very childish.
And then his idea of racial identity is weak. It doesn't hold up.
Yeah,
does not hold up.
Instead of just arguing against it, what he does is he jumps on his team and says, like, this is the right way.
Yeah.
Or jumps on, like, I keep bringing up the multiculturalism thing, but it's so telling.
Which basically means, okay, so you have no idea morality, ignorance, and corruption all tie in.
Yeah.
And self identity.
Yeah.
He thinks, well, it's genetic. And it's predetermined.
He's basically saying you have no free will. You're a genetic robot.
Yeah.
You have no choice. No nothing. There is no you there. Mm-hmm. It's purely just genes passed down.
But he doesn't. Yes, he does, dude. He does. He's basically just saying, like, what? Dude, he does say that. I'm not quoting him, but what here's the thing about Jared Taylor. He's going to say it without saying it.
Yeah.
And this isn't me hating. This is us actively listening to what he's saying. It's like the races should be separate. We should live separate. Look, there'll be no racism.
Let me help him out with
Go
this.
ahead.
It's like a T.I. diss song called I'm Talking to You.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of T.I. He's a rapper from Atlanta. But he made this diss track against a name that will not be named.
Oh.
So, what T.I. did was very, very intelligently, he said, everyone he's not dissing. So that leaves only one person fucking left.
Oh, he's talking.
He's like, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking to this, and them, and
Yeah.
them, and them, and there, and there.
Yeah.
So when Jared Taylor says certain things, there's only one conclusion left. Okay, you're going in this direction, aren't you?
All right,
That's our logic behind it.
That races are. He's basically just saying that races are different genetically. That's wrong, and that some are so different that they're not very compatible. That's ridiculous, dude. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
He's not saying that some are better than others.
That's what he said. Okay, that's what he says. But if he says, okay, here's race and intelligence, right?
Yeah.
And these groups have more intelligence than these groups.
Yeah.
Also, morality is based on intelligence.
Yeah.
And then on all these characteristics that are added to intelligence.
Yeah.
How's he not saying we're better than them?
Yeah.
How's he not saying on average?
That's what I'm saying here.
And then this core value that you're talking about, where does he say that? Is he religious or something? I don't think he's religious and can say this at the same time.
No.
I don't see how Taylor can believe in a soul and believe this at the same time. That
it's
your actual behavior is dictated by your genetics.
Yeah.
That means you have no choice over them. Which
That means you're a fucking robot.
That means there is no soul there.
Yeah.
There is no, how are you making moral choices? You can't if it's genetically based. Right?
Intelligence, wisdom. He's not saying that some are better. Dude, honestly, I think...
He's just not saying that.
Yeah. I just think you need to look at what he's saying specifically here.
It's lining up a bunch of guys, and Bob and Jimmy, Tommy. Hey, Timmy, you guys are all great at basketball. Meanwhile, James is standing right here, and then I just walk away. Like, what?
Yeah.
He's basically saying James is not good at basketball.
No, it's not absolute.
He's saying that, though. He just said personality traits are passed on genetically.
That's ridiculous.
What are personality traits? Those are behavioral things, right? Thus, that's who a person is.
Yeah.
Unless there's just a floating beam within them that just
That's who you are. That's why he
What's
goes,
the point of that beam sitting in your chest?
It's who you are, your identity. You make that. It's basically a temple that you build, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Now what he's saying is, well, you're white, so it's this. I'm like, no, that's not it. You're wrong.
Yeah. And, sometimes he slips up.
So are Africans more So are Africans not more adept at certain sports?
I'd say certain body types are more preferred in certain sports, as far as we understand it today, until some motherfucker comes along and evolution evolves the game.
Or it just
whatever
so happens,
sport it is.
Or it just so happens that a culture, meaning a group of people that happen to be African, and that group or culture, or that community itself loves a specific type of sport, or sports in general. You know?
Well, here's the thing. As far as, if I use basketball only, let's say dunking.
Yeah.
Right? Vince Carter is a 1%er. There's very few Vince Carters out there. But there's also a guy like Jordan Kilgannon.
Yeah.
Canadian dude.
Right.
Who's also like a 1%. Fuck, I can't believe he jumps that high. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
It looks like an office guy.
I got you, yeah.
Just walked out and just said, Yoop.
Yeah.
Fucking
just
flying.
like any other sport, like baseball too.
It's freaky.
Like Earls Chapman, you could put him up there too. What he's able to do physically.
Yeah.
Not many guys like that. And then there's guys, right, like Nathan Eovaldi, who doesn't move nearly as dynamic as Chapman does, and yet can produce similar amounts of force as far as measuring it. That's insane. If you look at that, it's crazy. And yet, conditioning.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Also,
Internal pursuits happening.
Yeah. Also, there's intelligence when it comes to sports, as opposed to just being physically.
Oh yeah,
fit.
yeah, exactly.
Those are two different things.
Tom Brady, look at that.
Yeah.
Compared him to Michael Vick.
Yeah, two completely different guys.
One's more athletic, and one's way more intelligent as far as being a quarterback.
One's below average athletically,
Yeah.
but intelligence-wise is probably the smartest guy, or one of the.
Yeah. Are East Asians not more adept at intellectual capacities? Are they conditioned to do so? Is that conditioning? Is that part of their culture as far as you're going to study, and then you're going to go to work?
Yeah.
Is that a part of their conditioning, which basically goes into play, which plays into morality as far as, well, listen, it's not about what you want, it's about what is. See, I'm going to be tyrannical on you, son, because that's just the way it is. That's no different in other. Hold on, that's no different in any other culture, as far as I'm a dad, I have a son. Listen, son, you're not going to wear those shoes because those are for women. Men don't act like that, which means you don't have a choice.
That's no different than the Nigerian immigrants that I read about, to where their parents were super duper strict on academics. Those guys, like, they weren't allowed to play sports unless they had straight A's, right? For most people, it's if you fail, you can't play sports. Those parents are like, if you get less than an A, you're not playing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you believe that these results are due to environment over long periods. I'm saying I have a part to play, dude. Ha ha ha. You just proved Mr. Taylor's point. No, I didn't. You're not listening. Yet again. You said Vic was more athletic and Brady's more intellectual. Okay, so you're saying it's all environment. No, dude, you're just not listening. It's like you're fucking cherry picking everything I say. If you sit back and listen to what I'm saying as far as you have to take the individual, it's really weird.
I mean,
hold on. Charles Murray's study, right? That's his name, Charles Murray? His study based off of race and intelligence. But what does he say? The individual has to be taken accountable, has to be taken accountable for.
Yeah.
The individual.
They use the example of Barack Obama. But they used
Look at that dude.
Also, we could have easily used Tim Tebow and
Tim Tebow. Look.
Donovan McNabb as the quarterbacks. So you're saying McNabb is smart?
You said Michael Vick and he's brown. Look, was Michael Vick at the time something to admire as far as, look, stereotypically a quarterback isn't supposed to be able to do that shit.
Yeah, he was.
But he did it. Was he not the first kind of somewhat of the athletic quarterback that, dude, you could be a fucking running back if you wanted to be. That type of thing.
Sort of,
right?
There's Steve Young
before
him.
I got you.
That was like,
but it was a rarity, no?
Yeah.
And now we're seeing more of that.
Yeah.
Look at Russell Wilson. Is that dude scrawny and not athletic? No. What's his name? Tim Tebow. Look at that. What held him back? Throwing. But would that do the athletic beast? Fuck yeah. 6'4", 260, running around like that, jumping around like that.
Cam Newton.
Look at that. Okay?
Yeah.
I could keep going here.
They're very
I could go in baseball. I could go in boxing. Okay? All these are as far as intelligence and applied things. It's like...
Yeah, as far as like 1%ers, I think...
No, dude, I don't...
Types.
Look, I'm not taking it personal. But it's only funny. It's probably your idea of me... Look, see, you agree with him. Ha-ha. Yeah. I don't think of you pointing down laughing at me. What I'm saying is you're just really, as far as what I'm seeing here, you really have no idea what I'm talking about. You have no idea. Your ears perk when he says, see, environment. He's talking about environment, so it is environment. Like, no. It has a part to play, but the individual has to be accountable for that.
Yeah.
Meaning, right? Me, right? If I'm the minority a white guy, if I'm a minority in a culture where it's hip-hop, rock not really, but hip-hop, rap predominantly, music, a specific sport that's played, two sports, football and basketball, the most popular thing. A certain kind of certain methods are predominantly used as far as to handle a problem or a social problem. Does that mean, my environment's making me... No. I make the moral choice. I step back and I make the moral decision because I am
or the socially as far as the world we live in, based off of conditioning, the
then,
socially logical stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, what sports get me right to the pros right away? Right?
Yeah.
Football, there's no minor leagues.
Yeah, just boom. Basketball, you're there too.
No minor leagues.
Yeah. Well, it's there.
Rapper,
yeah.
Rapper, I could be kind of like, look at this guy lived in my neighborhood, man.
Yeah.
Look how much money he's making.
Yeah. Look what he says.
Or
He's
producer.
I'm just doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Intelligence, wisdom. If you ever want to come on and chat, you can.
We got through 8 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I think we should go here.
I should screenshot the Millennial Woes guy.
Yeah.
So I remember what he says. Yeah, let Jared know. Tell him.
Tell him. Tell him.
No, we just hustled our way into this.
Well, think of it like, should it really matter the amount of followers that we have? Like, if I had 20,000, does that make me, oh, look, he has an argument. What? It's like weird. It's weird to me, you know? It's like, listen, you don't have enough followers for Jailer Taylor's, for his needs. It's like, well, dude, if you're arguing something that's gonna affect the people's, I would say, how would I say this?
Yeah.
Affect someone's way of living because you believe it's the best thing for them, then why should that matter? Whether I'm a guy walking down the street with fucking holes in my clothes, or whether I'm doing a business suit in a corporate tower.
That would require abstract thinking.
So, do you think there are no differences between races?
Aesthetics, physicality, but that's more based on, like, let's say two athletes get together as mom and dad, as opposed to two unathletic bookworm people. Mm. I think the athletic part is more prevalent in the black community because I can get rich doing this. I'm poor, I can be rich.
Yeah.
Or I know a guy that did this. Other than that, I think, once again, I'm going woo-woo. I think internal things can affect genetics severely.
Yeah. Quite
a bit. And you can look up a guy like Rupert Sheldrake. He even said something to Joe Rogan on his podcast about it. It's like your kids might innately be practicing jujitsu.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
Because you practice jujitsu.
Yeah.
That's but it can't, right? That wouldn't play itself out immediately genetically, I don't think.
No.
There'd have to be some other factor to it.
No.
Not just, it's in my DNA.
Don't white people want to be rich too? Through athletics? Sure, I didn't say they wouldn't want to be.
But once again, I'll re-reference you to another guy, a guy like Bruce Lipton, who says something to the effect of, like, desperation, fear and anxiety, right? Let's say, like, look at cavemen or whatever the fuck, right? If they're in a more hostile, environment, they're probably gonna evolve to have, like, bigger muscles and shit like that. Like,
sure.
Fear around the doors.
Look, see, look.
The pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, look, they had to, because they had to run away from this fucking, like, animal that's about to eat them.
Yeah.
Versus, these guys, they didn't have to worry about something like that.
I'm not saying that's where I'm going. I'm just saying there's other information out there.
Throughout, yeah. All right. Hey, dude, if you ever want to talk or do a video where you call in, whatever have you, we can do that. If not, cool. No worries.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you feel like. Intelligence Wisdom, you should definitely subscribe because you like to argue like we do.
Hold on. Okay, so do you think race is strictly a superficial physical attribute and plays absolutely no role on the brain or psychology?
On the brain, yes. I think genetics develops the brain for sure, but not the thing that's driving the brain, right? Right, you have, first of all, I look at brain as, once again, like storage.
Memory bank.
Yeah, content storage.
Yeah.
And
well,
then,
also, it's like I don't want to just call it memory bank. It's a capacity. What did you call it? You called it a what?
Hard drive?
A hard, more than that. My bad. I think of it as a motor, you know?
Yeah, you go on.
Motor.
Oh, well, I call it a hard drive in the sense of what we're talking about. This is intelligence.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like a dictator of the body parts and things like that.
Sure.
I wasn't going there with that.
Yeah.
I was.
I just wanted to be clear.
I was saying for intelligence, for the sake of discussion, for intelligence, it's like a hard drive.
Hard drive motor, you know.
Eh.
I'm probably not being fair to the brain here. I think it's more than that.
Well, I'm talking about the function for intelligence. It has a memory of things, almost in like a content type of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, but does the brain not affect psychology?
Yes, it does, but so does a water bottle. A water bottle affects my psychology. That was a bad metaphor by me with the hard drive thing. I'm just thinking about it now. I'm like, that's a poor one.
Well, you're probably only using it because someone's taking into consideration what intelligence could be. It's like, oh, so you may not truly understand all these things and how they came to be. You just memorized all these things. So on a test, you could say, oh, look, he knows. He's intelligent. Versus, well, he memorized the patterns that you put out in front of him and that guy over there, which is his brother. It's like, fuck this. I'm not doing it. Whatever race they could be, who fucking cares? You know?
Very weird.
So then race will have to affect psychology.
Nah. I already said, well, yes. But not in the way you're thinking or trying to say, I think. Right, race with your, as far as brain, it's not so like different from race to race. So yes, the brain affects your psychology, but it's not, fuck, how do I explain this? There's a separation going on there. Like I said.
He thinks he got it.
Huh?
He said, ta-da.
Nah. If you look at psychology, right? The forefront of your psyche, I would put as the ego. Really, it might be the superego, but let's say the ego. That's the negotiator between internal and external. Your brain is like a physical representative of the ego. Just like the ego is like a metaphysical representative of the brain. Those two are like negotiators. They're taking content from here and from here. Now, when it comes to race, or when it comes to race and genetics, I wouldn't look at the brain for that specific thing. I'd look at it for something else, right? Because there's also applied as much as there's intake, right? If I memorize all the words ever written ever, I still have to apply those words. That's the intelligence part. So if you're trying to make a connection between race and intelligence that way, I'm not rolling with that.
Race affects...
I'd say the conditioning is what affects the psychology.
Yes, I agree with that. Well, you both are far more open-minded and deep thinkers than most I've met on YouTube. Thank you. All right.
That's it.
Let's go do some drugs. Let's end it.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you like. Always comment. We like debates, as you can tell. And as always, give this video what you probably have already. Not you, intelligence wisdom, but others, a thumbs down.